Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the final, I don't have any other words, for the MCU movies that we started, over a year and a half ago. And I just have one thing to say before we get started. Looks like we made it, even though we almost fell down. We had two moves and a child couldn't stop us. Looks like we made it, and I don't want to watch any more Marvel movies. I was insane when I started this. And who's with me that's also crazy tonight?
Yeah, that's about what I expected. Michael K. Hughes and Bo.
And I'm Bill Tucker. Right, babe? Yeah, babe. Yeah, babe. Right, babe.
Do you like my beard I grew? My blip beard that you can't see, that I didn't grow?
Very good. Very good.
So all this movie made me want to do was watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off again.
Yeah.
That's
the much better John Hughes movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are here to finally wrap up this MCU countdown. We went through all 23 movies with Spider-Man Far From Home that came out in 2019.
5 years ago now.
That's what it feels like.
All right. Yeah. Man,
Yeah, we just kind of blipped through 2020.
basically, yeah. Kind of.
I forgot about this movie. Like, I remembered bits and pieces, but I was not. Yeah.
It's such a weird way to wrap up Phase 3.
It's unnecessary.
It definitely felt like Sony says you have to make another Spider-Man movie or we're taking the license back, so they just kind of tacked it on at the end.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's what it was, because I remember correctly, they didn't even know if they were going to get another movie after this one because the contract went up. So they had to get it out as fast as they could because the contract was going away.
Bill's favorite thing, licensing garbage.
Yeah, great. That's great. We'll just hammer this out because the contract says so. Yeah, this is such an afterthought. I did not see this in theaters because I thought Endgame was the end of these. You see, I thought that's
hence the name.
Hence the name. No, I didn't see this in theaters for whatever reason. I don't remember. A lot has happened between 2019 and now. It's an extremely odd kind of coda to Phase 3. I don't know why this has a 90% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I really don't. And I know Rotten Tomatoes is very strange. Rotten Tomatoes is weird in the way it does its rankings, but yeah, we'll talk about it, man. This is just a very strange kind of coda, like I said, to Phase 3, and it's not a terribly good one. This movie is rife with problems.
I remember liking this movie more than I did.
I remember walking out of the theater pretty lukewarm on it. The great thing about this movie is it comes at a cool 128 minutes compared to some of the other Phase 3 movies.
Yeah, nice and trim. It was good watching it, again at 10 o'clock last night, finished up around midnight. Perfect. This movie came out 3 months after Endgame. This came out in early July, like late June, early July. 3 months after the spectacle of Endgame. That's nuts.
Yeah, Endgame was probably mostly in the can after all the Infinity War stuff. I assume they filmed them back to back like that. So this one was probably just took their time with it.
It's just strange this exists in the same year as Endgame. Again, Endgame it even has at the end of Endgame like the little hero shots of all the characters and their little signatures at the end, and it's like done. And then this little movie comes crawling up, no pun intended. Hi, you guys need a little more Marvel? I got a little adventure about our friends traveling to Italy. Can we? It's not great. So
this movie starts out with the hero shots in a very stupid way.
Yeah, I don't. Wait, what? Oh, is that the Marvel logo?
Yeah, you talking about the montage?
Oh yeah.
No, the high school. Yeah, I guess montage is a good word for it. The farewell video, I guess.
Oh yes.
Yes.
It's weird.
With one of my issues with it is one that they have this like little video where they're like, "Oh, the fallen Avengers." Yet you don't see Black Widow murals all over, or Captain America who's not dead. You just see Iron Man murals everywhere.
Yeah.
And Iron Man. God, is there Iron Man?
Yeah, you guys warned me about the Iron Man-ness, how Tony Stark permeates every orifice of this movie, and oh boy, does it! I mean, most of Peter Parker's emotional journey hinges on his relationship with Tony, and yeah, there's so much iconography and references, and we'll get into it as we go piece by beat. But
big issues with this movie is that I don't think I realized it when I first saw it, but if somebody pointed out that both Spider-Man movies are essentially Spider-Man and Friends, Like the first one is
and
Spider-Man and Iron Man team-up movie. And this is Spider-Man and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., essentially.
and the third one's shaping up to be Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
And I wonder if it's a contract thing, too, where they're like...
It has to be.
You think?
Has to be, yeah. Like the same way that we can't have a solo Hulk movie because Universal owns it. Like, I don't think Sony's going to just let Marvel or Disney make just a Spider-Man movie. It's like, you have to put your stupid characters in here. You cannot have the... I'm sorry, I'm still salty about not having a solo Spider-Man movie other than Spider-Verse.
Right. It's crazy. I wonder if so you think there's a babysitting clause where like Spider-Man always must have a babysitter along with him?
Which sucks because we see towards the end of this movie they could have made a really sweet solo Spider-Man movie, but no, it's got to be this garbo.
I mean, I do know that one of the requirements with Spider-Man was to put him in the MCU. So I guess like having other characters makes it like, oh, he's in the MCU. Is the MCU? That could be part of it.
Yeah, but I mean, even other MCU characters got origin movies. Not that we need to see Uncle Ben die for the 87th time.
Right? Yeah.
So I mean, that could have played a part of it too. I don't know.
It's a bizarre choice, and I just it's almost understandable though because from a story perspective, like how much is Peter Parker going to do on his own without a handler, without somebody kind of moving him along? Because again, he is 17. He's in high school. He's not an adult yet, you know. But they got to do something better than just keep hanging on the Tony Stark thing, you know. Keep beating that drum, right?
I just hope they don't do it No Way Home. Also,
oh man.
I
everywhere I look, I still see his face all these years later.
Everywhere he looks.
And like this movie starts off even before that montage, you have it where it's in Mexico. And this is when you first see Mysterio fighting is he fighting Elemental at this point, I think?
Yeah, no, it's the Earth one.
Yeah.
This kind of bugs me too because, I mean, like two of them that you see are actual characters from Spider-Man comics, like Hydro Man, you see later on, but it's not.
And they even mentioned Maury Bench's name, who is Hydro Man's alter ego. But that's another problem I have with this movie is it kind of shot itself in the foot from the get-go is you're going to put Mysterio in it, but he's a hero. And like anyone that knows anything about Spider-Man is like, okay, he's the villain, obviously. Yeah. Which, I don't know.
Well, as somebody I've heard of Mysterio, and then I saw him with his globe face, I'm like, oh, that's the globe face guy. I thought he was DC. Oh, I guess not. I don't know. Oh, I'm thinking of the guy with the very large head. There's a guy with a large head, I think, in DC. Is that the guy? No, that's Leader.
Leader's Marvel.
Yeah.
Isn't there like Mysterio or Wizard Face? I don't know in DC.
I have no idea where you're going with this.
I don't either. Listen, there's a ride at Six Flags Great Adventure called Superman the Ride. And en route on the way to the ride, there's all these different like signs with all the characters and villains. And one of them is like a super genius dude. Dynamo something. I don't know. Brainiac. That's it. Thank you. Brainiac.
That was a terrible description of Brainiac, but yes.
Listen, I haven't been on that ride in 15 years, okay? Listen, I've drank a lot since then.
A picture of Brainiac. Now. That is not...
Well, I don't know. So anyway, it's like, I didn't know who this was. And I was like, okay, he's just... Oh, actually, I just said, oh, that's Jake Gyllenhaal. That's nice. Hi, Jake. Haven't seen you in a while.
Best known for his role in the Prince of Persia movie, I think.
No, he was in Enemy, I think, right? And he was he was in what the heck is that movie?
Donnie Darko,
which is
I've never seen it, but yeah, he's in that.
Well, you're not
Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
True. He was
2012.
Donnie Darko. That's right. What's the one most recently?
Day After Tomorrow.
Was he Day After
not
Tomorrow?
2012. Yeah, Day After Tomorrow. You're right.
Yeah.
And then you also have like this quick little recap too of the Avengers as a school video, like we were talking about with that whole thing, and which is just stupid. And then the way, like when you first see Peter and Ned talking, they're getting ready for the trip, and then MJ walks up and they're like, "We're talking about this, not you." No. Like it's just so stupid. Like we're collecting phones.
Real quick, the little tribute video, it reminded me of don't remember where I read it. Basically, someone said that if an indie development studio is making a bad video game, paying homage to a bad video game. You're making it as a joke, and you're still making a bad video game. So, like, yeah, they made this stupid video, and it's supposed to be a joke because it's high school kids, but it's still a stupid video, and it's very cringy, as the kids say these days.
Yeah, there's a lot of cringe going on in this. It does, though, explain the blip a bit, which was good for me because I really never had the blip fully explained. There's the biggest problem for me in this movie, And there was a point in this film where I stood up. I literally stood up. I said, Jane, pause it. What is going on here? What is happening? I don't know what's happening. Why is going on? And this movie makes very little sense. Most of the things in this movie don't make sense. One of the things with the blip I thought was interesting was the idea that half the people left, and then all of a sudden 5 years later, half of everybody returned. But why is that a big deal? Because hear me out. If half the kids in the school, let's just say, blip away, they're gone, right? Time moves on, 5 years. 5 years later, they all come back. It's not like we've doubled our population within the last 5 years. We're just re-adding what was gone. So why is this such a big deal? Other than the fact that kids haven't aged. They come back the same age they are, and they're technically 21 when they should be 16, which is a very funny bit that pays off. So I was just wondering that, like, this doesn't. Why are we so concerned?
Isn't that kind of what they touch on in Falcon and Winter Soldier? Isn't that the Flag Smashers' whole deal? Because everyone is displaced, they're kind of fighting to get back to what they were.
Yeah, they're trying to get back to. They're trying to get back to like a. They're trying to get back to like a one world government as opposed to like new government with everyone's back. So it's like, let's get back to quote unquote normal. And they want to bring things back the way they were before the blip. I believe. Winter Soldier, I saw that like a month ago and I've already kind of forgotten about it a bit.
It's kind of forgettable.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that one.
It also takes place, I just looked at the timeline. It takes place before this movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier happened before Spider-Man Far From Home.
Okay. I was wondering that, yeah.
We do get to see the band kid. When we get to see the band kid beamed in the head with the basketball when on the re-entry.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. There are a bunch of really good visual bits in this movie, and as we'll go through. But this is actually important. You got to explain everything to the audience who may not have seen Endgame and really don't know what's going on.
I didn't mind
the
homeless support thing, like where they have them talking about the blip and explaining what happened, because you did need some explanation after Endgame. So I'm like, that didn't bother me. Like, I think it's funny where like Aunt May's like, yeah, she thought I was his mistress, and this person thought I was someone else, and thought I was the mother. Like, just all confused. Like, it makes sense that like people just vanish and nobody knew what the hell was going on for 5 years, and all of a sudden everybody just came back, which was a dumb decision on their part. But hey,
yeah.
Of course, she had to blip too, so Tony didn't have to confront her about Peter being gone.
You're right.
That's a very good point. It's a very good point.
I mean, statistically, it could happen, yes. 50%. Yeah. So not like it was like 10%.
Yeah. True. But yeah, after our news brief, we get to Pete's hanging out with Ned. It's so good to see Ned in movies. I love Ned. I love him. I think he's great. I think he's such a fun little character to bounce off of Peter. It's great.
Yeah, he's fine. He's better in the first movie.
I agree. Yeah. Well, we'll talk why he's better in the first movie, I'm sure, because I agree with that as well. But
there's no babe. Okay, babe. There's no babe.
No babe. Which I think is actually rather funny. It kind of explained they're talking about MJ, and this is where this movie kind of falls on its face a bit. And this is, you guys always talked about it, where it's like this is more of a John Hughes movie than a superhero movie. And I think it's like half. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say exactly what you're about to say. It's like half and half. It doesn't really succeed at either one of them.
No, it doesn't. And that's the biggest problem, is that this movie is trying to do both things, and in trying to do both, it does neither that well. That's the biggest problem here, because all the John Hughes type stuff again is very cringy because we've all been there. Like, we've all fretted over a girl or a boy that we liked, right? We all kind of was, what do I say to this person? And as adults, we're saying, just say something stupid. Don't be a ninny. You're Spider-Man.
That doesn't bother me in John Hughes movies. It's just it's something about, like, that didn't really bother me a whole lot. I mean, there are other things that bother me more. Like, I don't like the Ned relationship just because I feel like it's unnecessary. It fits high school, but it just, I don't know, it irritated me.
It's scene dressing for kind of that era, right? It's unnecessary, I agree, but it was fine. It kind of stayed out of the way. But the problem with the John Hughes, and we'll just call it the John Hughes stuff, or the teenage romance triangle stuff, is that if you're not going to do one thing well, and you're going to do both kind of half-assed, then neither one's going to be very good. The reason John Hughes movies works is because those relationships are earned. It's seeped in the nostalgia of that. It kind of feels lived in, as opposed to something created to develop a character or to just put someone in that place. So it's that thing called heart. There is no heart in this. There's no heart in this movie. There's no heart. And that if you just have teenage angst with no heart, it's just annoying. Like sitting behind a bunch of kids in Denny's, like while they're like throwing spitballs at each other. Shut the fuck up. I want to yell. I want to shake him. Peter, please come on already. Just say hi to her.
It just feels so out of place in an MCU movie.
And we spend a lot of
superhero movie.
And we spend a lot of time with Peter Parker just fretting. He's always fretting. Like he's always just very concerned. And I get he's 17, right? And that's just what the point of it is. But boy, oh boy.
And we also don't even get a whole lot of Spider-Man. We get a lot of Peter Parker in this movie.
Yes.
It's kind of like Iron Man 3, where you don't get Iron Man, you get Tony Stark constantly.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, there's very little Spider-Man in this. It's a very good point. Yeah.
And that kind of messes with it for me too. Like, and like the stuff like early on, you have Happy hitting on Aunt May. I mean, yes, it's funny, but again, it just everything to me, like we kept saying, feels like a John Hughes movie, and like it's not. John Hughes movies are fun. Like, I mean, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I mean, a lot of those movies have a certain type of feel, but that also was the 80s, not 20. You know, it doesn't. I don't like the whole high school thing in this movie. Like, I get, like, I was okay with it in Homecoming, but here it's just like, I mean, so many things have happened. He just saved the world. Like, we need to move on. So
yeah, it's almost like they couldn't figure out an entire script based around Mysterio, and they're just like, okay, we need to pad out the runtime with something high school.
I also don't like Mysterio in this movie.
No, he's terrible.
Nah.
He is. I don't want to say inexcusable, but he is such a early MCU villain. It feels like he feels like a throwback to 2003. Like,
he's also a Tony Stark villain in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly what it is. He just feels like another run of the mill. Tony Stark made this bad guy.
It's extremely generic, and that's a big problem with the Spider-Man stuff, the superhero stuff. It's extraordinarily generic, and when it tries to not be generic and interesting, it's incomprehensible. It's annoying.
And you just come out of the other Spider-Man movie, you have Vulture, which they made Vulture actually work like really well.
Yeah.
And then here,
a goofy, laughable villain to begin with, and they made him kind of badass.
Yeah, I mean, they revolutionized in a way that I really liked. The Mysterio, like, yes, it is Mysterio, and it fits Mysterio, but I didn't like the way they did it. It bugged me when you find out, you know, as the movie progresses, like what he's actually up to. It's like, this is just dumb.
And his end goal is just like, it's such a big question mark. Like he wants, okay, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but
we'll get there. Yeah.
It's so dumb.
And like we were kind of saying with the John Hughes thing, like one of the first things you see is you have Peter ghost Nick, and they have to say it multiple times. He ghosted me. Oh, he didn't ghost you. He ghosted me. Oh, you're going to ghost Nick. Like, once was enough, guys. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
That annoyed
Nick
me.
Fury's trying to call Peter Parker over top of all these other Avengers. Like, he names off a couple, but where's Falcon? Where's
Where's Bucky? Where's Hawkeye? I'm sure he's doing nothing. It's
we know where Black Widow is.
Well, they know where Black Widow is. Yeah, we all know where she is. We left her where we found her. Yep. Wah, wah, poor Black
I'll never
Widow.
get over that.
I know. It's okay.
Never.
It's okay. I'm sure there's a support group somewhere. I don't know. No, the Nick Fury stuff is dumb. And also this makes Nick Fury look like an idiot. Like everyone's dumb in this movie, it feels like. There's no one smart.
I mean, they kind of explain that at the end, but
yeah, they do. I think he also handwaves like, hey, I was blipped, and 5 years later, I think he says it later on, but he's like, I don't have any, I don't know where people are. I used to have everything. Go ahead, sorry.
Did you watch both the Stingers?
The ones at the end? Yes, I did.
Okay.
I
was like, oh wait, hold on.
Oh yeah. That's a good point too. Fair enough. Good.
That
point.
irritates me too. We'll get there.
Oh yeah. We got an hour.
It's just a lot of that stuff. Like early after he goes to Nick, you see him freak out with a crowd, which, like, okay, I get it. And again, they mentioned Iron Man. No, not Iron Man. Oh, so,
This is Iron Man 3 all over again, where he's got the PTSD with the aliens, and they're like, well, what are you going to do if aliens come back? And Peter freaks out and runs off. Same thing that Tony did.
But again, I can hand wave that as saying he's a kid still. A lot of this movie hinges on the fact that Peter Parker's still a dumb kid. Even though he's a superhero and an actual genius who knows more than anybody in that school, he's still a dumb kid. But yeah, that's fine. I didn't mind him kind of being in front of all these cameras, people asking him questions, rapid fire. Yeah, this whole thing is fine. Again, kind of reestablishing also, I do like May and Happy. I think that's really cute. I do. I like a lot of all that stuff pretty much. It's fun. And it's just fun watching Marissa Tomei act. She's just so good.
Yeah. It doesn't really go anywhere, though. I mean, we get the joke at the end, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's one long setup for a payoff at the end. Yeah, basically.
The John Hughes movie again.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's what the next part was too. Like you have him packing, but especially all the airplane stuff with the seat switch and how it goes awry and how he brings the double connector so they can watch a movie together. And then the guy that, this other guy ends up hitting on her instead and he misses out and he's stuck with the teacher from the Hulk movie. Like all that happens and it's just all like, and you have music playing in the background. I'm just like I'm watching an 80s movie right now.
Yeah, I forgot he was the pizza guy from Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, for that one scene.
Yeah. The plane stuff is actually okay. I actually like the two teachers. I like them just completely unable to handle the task they are given, especially when it becomes a monumental disaster. JB Smoove is so great. I love JB Smoove. He just makes me giggle every time I see him. So I was very happy to see him in this film. And the other guy's pretty good too. Yeah, this is kind of where this back and forth goes, right? This is all okay. Like all of this and switching seats. Ooh, I want to sit next to MJ and this other guy vying for her attention and Ned, of course, messing everything up by lying because he always screws things up.
It's the stereotypical Parker luck, so at least I got that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's all fine, but
I didn't want it in my Spider-Man movie.
That's
I mean, they make it work because that's like the whole theme of this movie is a very jokey movie. And I guess part of the idea was to have something joking after Endgame, but I just don't like it.
Yeah.
But you didn't need
It's
something
not quite. Yeah, right. It's not quite Ant-Man or Ant-Man and the Wasp, but it definitely tries.
I will say I like the high school stuff, honestly, more than the superhero stuff. Because at least I can think back on that era as an old fart. I can think back on that era and be like, oh yeah, totally. I can see myself angling to get a seat next to a girl I like, when all those little dramas that feel so big when you're that age. I mean, that's what John Hughes movies do too, is that those little dramas feel really big and important, So when, I forget if Say Anything is John Hughes, but when he's like holding up the boombox, that feels like a big moment because it's set up, and even though it's a little thing, right? It's a blip, no pun intended, in their lives. It's a blip in their lives, right? It's just one thing they'll remember maybe when they're 30. It feels big and important. And the problem is you now have this really big and important superhero story and this high school stuff side dressing that really doesn't do much than just kind of, again, pastiche a John Hughes movie. And it's not contributing. It's not additive to the whole experience. And then you got the superhero stuff, which isn't very interesting to begin with. So, yeah.
I mean, I normally don't mind high school stuff in some movies. Like, I have enjoyed it. Like, I went and watched Ferris Day Off at some point, and I was still like, okay, this is hilarious. Like, even though this movie's from the 80s, it's still funny, and I still enjoyed it. But there was something, and then all I could feel, like, I could just feel that vibe everywhere in this movie, and I didn't like it, because it wasn't, I guess, part of it wasn't what I wanted in my Spider-Man movie, so that's part of it, which is on me. Because it was funny, I laughed, but...
Spider-Verse has a little bit of it, but it's also an origin movie, so it kind of manages to blend it better than this one.
Well, Spider-Verse begins with high school stuff as a setting, but the characters are still very grounded as kids. So it's kind of kids being... I'm trying to think. They weren't seeing it. I keep saying blah, blah, blah. Spider-Verse is a very humorous movie. It's not jokey funny. It's just a very humorous movie. It's lighthearted and it's just so beautifully constructed. It's a setting. It's not necessarily the focus. Where here it's obviously high school kids on vacation, summer vacation trip. It's just very hammered in, a little ham-handed, and actually, Spider-Verse is more about family. About him dealing with family, relationship with his dad, which is still one of the most touching scenes I've seen in a comic book movie. When he's in his room and his dad's talking to him from the other side. Like, that's so beautifully earned and gorgeous and stunning. I don't know how you write that. That's amazing.
So
it's a great movie.
So you're saying Into the Spider-Verse is a perfect movie?
I wouldn't say perfect. It's dang close. It's perfect at what it's trying to achieve. And it hits every note it means to. So you can make the argument, I don't say perfect, but
yeah,
dang close.
So damn good.
It's good.
There's only one perfect movie that I've ever seen, and it started with Scott. Didn't start with
It and Scott Pilgrim were tied for my favorite movie of all time. So
actually, neither of those are perfect. Silence of the Lambs, now that might be a perfect movie, but that's not. We're not going to go into the discussion again.
It's up there. It's up there.
Definitely not Reanimator.
No.
And then, like the whole way that Ned gets the girlfriend, I mean, that was kind of humorous. Where he sits next to her and she doesn't really want him there. And he tries to talk to her. She's like, do you play game? Like, no. Do you play games? Do you know this? No. And then he starts playing it, and she's looking over at it and watching it, like, okay. And again, you're stuck.
The turbulence, and they kind of grab each other's hand real quick.
Cute. It's cute.
I mean,
I like Ned. And
that was amusing. I liked because I mean, you're sitting next to somebody for 9 hours, and you're in high school, so you know each other. It's a different that part was kind of cute. I just didn't like how they are throughout the movie. I mean, I get it. It's high school. I'm sure I've did dumb shit too in my first relationship, but I don't know. It just bugged me.
Them calling each other babe reminds me of the Office episode, The Dinner Party. And it's like one of the hardest episodes to get through.
Oh, you broke my plasma screen TV. When he threw Dundee. Oh, God. That is one of my favorite Office episodes, by the way. That is pure cringe all the way through. It's almost unwatchable.
No idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh, it's glorious. It's such a good show. Anyway, the babe stuff's fine. It's cringy because, again, like I said before, we've all been there. You've all been overly attached to a significant other.
I know I have.
So we watch my first relationship. Yeah, right. Your first girlfriend or boyfriend is always that one you're obsessed with. And again, as an adult watching it, you're like, oh God, it's so gross.
That I think it just was the fact that it was. I wanted more Spider-Man in my Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
I think whenever I didn't get Spider-Man, I was getting upset. I'm like, I don't care about I want Spider-Man.
This is strongly a Peter Parker movie. You're right. Yeah,
and I think that bugged me. Like, I can't remember exactly, but I know they go to the airport in Venice, and again, you have MJ with this other guy who, was from the blip where he was like 12 and now he's 17, and they're all like, "Oh, now he's hot." Like, I mean, it fits the storyline of what they're trying to say. So I'm like, but it's annoying, that whole rival for the same girl type thing. It annoyed me after a while.
Again, it's just in the style of that type of movie, Yeah. And again, none of these things ever pay off, and that's the problem. None of these things really go anywhere.
I was waiting for the movie to go meow, 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 as he's running away from Mysterio at the end. Meow, meow, meow. And he stops hey, hi, I'm Peter Parker. Hi, nice to meet you. There was none of that in this movie, though. No one got that.
What? I don't get the reference.
God, I don't know what you're doing.
Where he's running home. And he stops at one point and talks to two women.
And the Ferris Bueller. Okay.
Yeah. Didn't work. I know.
The sound effect threw me. I'm like, is he?
It sounds like a cat.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Go watch that movie and watch that final part, and you'll see what I mean. Or just YouTube it.
It's when he jumps over the fence on the trampoline. It's kind of cutting back and forth and doing the real slow mo. Yeah, I got it.
He makes a run. He should not be able to make you.
They made the Ferris Bueller reference in Homecoming.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You can just watch that, and they'll get to make the same thing.
Okay with that. That was also New York. That was at school. Like, this movie, he's on a freaking school trip, yet we're entrenched with school.
Mm-hmm. I will say these sets are gorgeous when they get to the different European cities.
Okay, those are good.
Good stuff.
Beautiful. Yep.
I did laugh at the shitty hotel, though, as I put it, when they get to the hotel and it's not that nice. I did laugh at that.
They're doing some renovating.
And I actually like, too, as they're kind of getting themselves there. I don't know if the kids hanging out in Venice montage is after the hotel or before, but I like that. I like watching Peter be a kid, because in the end, even though he's a superhero, he really also deserves a childhood. He deserves an adolescence that's normal. And we kind of want that for him, because he is a fun character. We still really like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. So that push and pull is actually interesting. The idea of him desperately wanting to just be a kid and have fun with his friends on summer vacation, and the responsibilities he didn't ask for, right? He didn't ask to be a spider person.
What song, whenever they do stuff like that, they always play songs with it, which again made me keep thinking of, John Hughes movies. We're going to keep saying throughout this entire episode.
Yeah.
They're typically 80s songs too, I think.
Well, of course, they were inspired by John Hughes movies.
Yeah. I forget what song is playing during the montage, but
I just know at one point there's a Ramones song that played. I don't know what the song was, but I knew it was Ramones. I knew the voice.
No, I honestly don't remember.
This is when we get MJ explaining her new favorite word. This is Bo, where it can mean anything. She's like, it's the antithesis to aloha. She's like, it can mean, hi, how you doing? Or get out of my face. And then the guy's like, hey, you want to buy flowers? She's like, Bo. And the guy just walks away. I love it.
She's fantastic. She's great in this movie.
I like where they went with MJ in these Spider-Man movies. Like, I'm completely happy with the MJ that we get.
Yeah. No, I agree. She's fantastic. Before that, we get a literal 10-second scene where Pete buys a necklace for MJ.
I like this, actually.
I think it's neat. I think he knows it's perfect. He kind of gets it. And this is, again, high school kind of thing. Then, he has it built up in his head how he's going to present this gift to her. And she's just going to swoon, right? It's all those fantasies you have wrapped up in your head as a teenager. But I like that because it's important to establish how he gets that little necklace. And then Jay again just steals. I think she steals nearly every scene she's in. She's so fun and good.
Yeah, no, Zendaya does a great job in this movie.
Oh, it's very funny.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope we get her in more than just one more movie. But will we?
That necklace is really pretty too, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I like the Black Dahlia reference though too. That amused me.
Is that a character name?
Murders.
No, it's just a real life murder that they never saw.
Okay.
Yeah. Or multiple murders.
I'm like, is MJ gonna become like the Black Dahlia character, or is she's not Gwen because she's Spider Gwen? And I'm sure MJ turns into a character at some point with a costume.
I don't think MJ does in the regular canon.
Okay, good.
No, I don't think MJ's ever gotten powers. She got radiation poisoning from Peter's fluids at one point.
I mean, there's that one time where she became water. Does that count?
Oh God, that's in the cartoon.
Yeah, I know.
We don't talk about that. Speaking of Hydro Man.
Oh, they're also on the boat. I remember when this movie came out, on one of the boats that you see right near the time where Hydro Man shows up. It has, I think it's 227 on it. Whatever the first appearance of Amazing Spider-Man is as Hydro Man. They had that on the boat. The numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, they do that for Magma Man later.
Oh, that's cool.
It's not Mega Man. It's not Hydro Man.
Oh yeah, it's not Maury Bench, and it's not shit. Can't remember his name.
I wanted Hydro
Not
Man.
important.
I like Hydro Man.
It's CGI water monster. It's so boring and generic. I'm watching this and I'm like, this is something out of an early 2000s superhero movie. Like, could not be more generic. There was probably a template in the program they used to build this thing. It's like water monster template, .zip, boom, throw him in there. There he is.
It's
boring.
Just unnecessary, and like the whole story that they build up for these elementals and everything. It's just I just want Hydro Man, just a guy who gets jealous of Peter or something, who can turn into water because of whatever reason, and that he just goes and fights Peter Parker and fights Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man doesn't have world-ending villains that much. That's what makes him work. Like in the Vulture, it wasn't a world-ending situation. It was just a guy who he got in his way and was dating his daughter.
Now, the movie does handwave this a lot when you discover Mysterio is evil with his evil crew of super smart people, and how the Mysterio thing is all written by this guy he knew who kind of wrote all of this mythos and all of this stuff. So when you look at it that way, like, oh, well, no wonder it's stupid. It was written by like a half-rate, screenwriter guy, one of Mysterio's buddies. But so you can kind of handwave it that way. But when you're in the actual movie and you don't realize it's all a farce, it's like, well, this is just boring and generic. And I'm here in this scene right now, and it's now just a dude with a globe head, shooting green stuff at a water monster I can barely see.
Well, one of my issues with Mysterio is that when you see him and he's doing these things, like when you first see it, especially later on when you find out what's going on with the movie, it's like, where is he even in this? Because he's not actually flying. He's not even wearing a suit. He's just standing there somewhere because everything's holographic.
This movie doesn't make sense.
Yes.
None of this shit makes sense.
I mean, he looks cool. Like, I actually got it. I never thought I would say Mysterio actually looks cool, and they got him down, and the character is the character from the comics, but in nowhere did I go, that's the character I want to see on live action, Mysterio. That wasn't it.
Yeah, I don't know much about the comics at all, obviously. I thought he looked pretty cool, though. I mean, the costume is neat, and I like the... Jake Gyllenhaal is a very good actor, so it was cool to see him. He's having a lot of fun in this movie. He is having a great time.
Oh man,
and
when he starts breaking later, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's great. He's having
a good job.
He's just having a blast with his movie, and I'm kind of here for it. It was good.
And when you see Peter trying to hold up buildings at one point while Mysterio's fighting this giant fake Hydro Man, part of my question is, what is breaking everything? Because this is before he gets the drones. Like, what is he even using that's destroying everything around him in this holographic? They never really say, other than, look, he has a little holojector thing. Like, I think maybe they mentioned their drones, but if he already had drones, what do you need more drones for?
Drones. Yeah, they needed Edith to get them all synced up or some bullshit.
But he didn't have Edith yet. I think they only really needed Edith to get these drones to London.
The other drone. No, they needed Edith to get the other drones from the satellite.
That's it. Yes.
Because he wasn't using his drones anymore.
because his drones didn't have guns, but I think
Well,
they had guns.
apparently, because they're breaking stuff.
Well, that's how the only way they can break stuff, because he explains that later. That double the firepower. He really want to destroy stuff.
Bullet holes? Like, that's weird. Look what this water monster hit the thing. There's bullet holes everywhere. That's not strange.
Yeah, they're right. They don't see like little particle effects and pew pews coming out of the. Hence, my biggest problem with this movie is nothing makes sense because
that's why we have a 5-minute thing going. And thanks to this guy who used to work for Tony Stark, yeah, he did this.
Matter
explain what this person did, so this part of the movie makes sense. Yeah, like.
It's movie. We're not the Men in Black. You can't just blip our brains and make us forget about the stuff that happened 45 minutes ago. Like, it has to tie back, and nothing makes sense.
I think Kryptonite reviving dead people makes more sense than what Mysterio is doing in this movie.
When you notice something like that, a wizard did it.
Well, that makes more sense. Yeah. So he had a green goo that revived the dead than what Mysterio was up to in this movie.
Yeah, because again, Mysterio's just a dude. He isn't having superpowers. He's not a magic man. It's funny. I was thinking about this earlier and how Doctor Strange makes way more sense, even though it makes much less sense, even though we know less about it. Because when it's Wizard Man with magical powers, our brain says, I don't know what that means. Cool. Bend the world in half. I don't know, but it's fun. But when you put it into the real world and try to ground it in technology and smart people, then you got to make it make sense for smart people to analyze and look at.
It's dumb people doing what they say is smart things.
Dumb people trying to do smart things. Yes.
I mean, like, Mysterio is not that good. Like, he's not that good of like that. I mean, he's sort of intelligent in what he's doing, but at the same time, had the end of the movie been a little different, I think this movie would have been over. Like, none of this would have worked.
It's whole thing, and we'll get to the big reveal. Obviously, you kind of already spoiled it, but
a little bit, but not completely.
Yeah, I mean, Mysterio stinks. He is terrible.
And then you have the little scene where Peter's talking to May on the phone, and then like I think this is when you find out that Flash Thompson is a big fan of Spider-Man but hates Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's always been the case.
Yeah, I forgot that. I forgot the name. His name. I keep calling him Bully. He sucks. Like, screw that.
He's also a Venom in the comic.
Yep, he's Agent Venom. And speaking of Venom, apparently Mary Jane was the Venom host in 2019. I looked it up after we were talking about her getting powers or something. So that's pretty cool.
That's neat.
Okay, it's odd. I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't read comics. I don't read new comics.
I still like the Happy and May. You know, he's talking to May, and Happy is there, and I just like seeing the two of them very happy. No dumb pun intended. the two of them just having a relationship, right? Because they both deserve it. They both earned it. Is very sweet, and I like all that stuff. I think it's great.
Were you laughing when he goes upstairs and Fury's waiting in his room and just tranks Ned?
And
then people keep knocking on the door, and he's like, "I'm going to kill the next person."
That was annoying.
Well, of course you got to do the rule of 3 before it's funny, I guess. But
yeah,
Fury's line there of if anyone else touches that door, you and I are going to be attending another funeral was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And Samuel L. Jackson's again an ultimate good in the universe, so it's fine. I'm always here for more Samuel L. Jackson. So
yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I mean, but it just felt like such a joke, though. Too. I mean, that's the purpose of it. But I'm just like, again, John Hughes. That's all I could think of when I had this just joke. I'm like, okay, that's just what we're going for. Like, I think you said the rule of 3, and I wasn't laughing.
Does anyone need grief counseling? Good, I'm not qualified.
I do like those teachers. They're very funny. That's good stuff.
They're so out of their element.
Oh yeah, they
like that.
Yeah,
like when they go to Italy, they the whole point of this trip to go to the Da Vinci Museum. They're like, it's closed till when? Like
November.
Yeah, like you didn't check the website.
Oh, that's a good idea.
These hapless teachers just bumbling their way through a school trip. It's again very good.
And then we gives them the glasses, which is the whole like point of this movie. I don't like how these glasses are so much of it because, again, it takes away, in my opinion, from Peter Parker and it makes him into Iron Man.
Yeah.
And that's one of my issues with this part. And then it jumps to Fury's hideout. Like, this was kind of cool. This is when they give the whole backdrop of how Mysterio's from another universe and he came here and his planet, they were destroyed. Like, you find out why Nick Fury bought this, load of bullshit, but I'm just like, this is just kind of stupid.
We get a good hint to Fury here, too, where he says that He said Quentin Beck's from Earth, just not your Earth. I didn't catch that, of course, the first time. I'm like, oh, he said a thing that was funny.
Yeah, and he also starts explaining like the multiverse, like it's brought up, and of course Peter just starts going, "Oh, a multiverse," and he's going through the time-space paradox equations in his brain and asking questions. Yeah, it's cool. Again, smart people doing smart things, and I don't buy the fact that Fury wouldn't have seen through this. This is Nick Fury, the liar of all liars, deceiver of all deceivers, the manipulator of all manipulators.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize that
He does say later on that he kind of suspected Beck from the start.
Then you should have done something about it, Ninny, before half of Venice was destroyed. Venice ain't doing so hot. Let's be honest. It's slowly sinking, never to return. So you should have done something. Just waiting for my next move. What? I don't know. Explains
just
the
like
elementals.
everything, where he's like, and this is the part where he's like, well, what about Captain Marvel? What about this character? And I didn't catch
another
that one. Nick Fury gets upset when he says Captain Marvel.
Exactly, yeah. He says Captain Marvel, and he said, do not invoke her name. Like, yeah, you would mean something pretty important to this person.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that until just now when I opened my mouth.
Yep. Okay. Of course, again, explaining the elementals and their threats. And again, this is all just such boring nonsense, superhero garbage. Again, the fact that this was released 3 months after Endgame does this no favors. We're past this. The 4 elemental forces. And again, later on, you learn some terrible screenwriter in the movie wrote that hacky lore that everyone's shocked, like, I can't believe people bought it, but hey, I can sell anything.
Unnecessary. It's stupid. You don't need it. It doesn't do anything.
Why can't we just have bad? And that's fair. Like you're saying about like Spider-Man villains being on the smaller scale, like small time relatively. I think that's cool. I think you can have those small characters. And then if it's a smaller story and stakes, you can focus more on the relationships, on Peter just being the challenge of high schooler versus superhero, which I think is actually very interesting and good. I like that push and pull.
Most of his villains are more smaller scale villains that affect him, not affect world ending stuff.
Yeah.
Even Mysterio, he's a illusionist. I mean, he's a movie star that failed, and this is what he does, but he's still just, I mean, like the movie show, he's just a guy. So why is, he doesn't, like this stuff that you see later on in the movie, there's certain parts that are 100% what Mysterio would do. Fighting big fake elementals is not Mysterio. That is not the character at all. And that's
since we already kind of spoiled the twist that, hey, Mysterio's a villain. His endgame is he just wants for people to see him as a hero for some reason. He wants to like show up Iron Man.
Is that pun intended?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, I don't think it was pun there.
It was Endgame.
Okay. His goal then his final goal.
It's not really clear.
Well, no, it's like it felt like a crappy social media influencer who's just like manufacturing garbage to get more likes on TikTok. Like that's literally what the energy of this was. It was like that's what I felt like a petulant, teenager. I actually wrote down, like, is the theme here that Mysterio's more teenager than Spider-Man, even though he's like 2.5 times his age? But no, that's not it. Certainly wasn't it. No, yeah, it's just this terrible motivation. I want to be a hero. I want to be the next Iron Man because Iron Man gave the glasses to a 17-year-old kid who, he can't even pick his nose right. I want to be him. Man.
We're going to make the world think we're fighting these elementals, so we're going to be better than Avengers, so we're going to make people think Tony looks dumb.
Yep, that's the whole plot. Tony's bad.
It's like it's the king of have you guys ever seen the King of Comedy, the Robert De Niro movie?
No.
It's the king of it's like the King of Comedy. I'm gonna work twice as hard as you, and I'm gonna be twice as famous. If you've ever seen the movie, you get the reference, and you're laughing, which means like 10 of your listeners probably are. It's a very similar idea, right? It's like, you know what? I'm gonna be better than you. I'm gonna be the hero, even though I'm not heroic, and I'm doing bad things to make it happen. But like you said, Michael, for what gain? Like, what's the end result?
It's the same motivation that Syndrome has in The Incredibles. He just wants to be a hero.
Right.
So he's going to make up this fake threat and make everyone think that he's a good guy.
Like and this movie just is like, when he goes to Fury and he's talking to them, he's like, yeah, you got Mysterio. I don't want to do this. I'm on vacation. And then, they find out all the next sponsors are going to be at Prague. And and S.H.I.E.L.D. hijacks the bus and sends him to Prague. I mean, it's just
I put in my notes. My notes say going to Prague, and then that happens, and I write ha ha with
man.
like 5 A's. I literally wrote
what
that
about
down
the
in my
part
notes.
where Peter almost becomes a murderer and puts on the glasses?
Yeah, this whole thing with the drone just feels like filler.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Well,
they're trying
it's
to
not really so much filler as it is we have to establish that he has these drones, so we have the part with Mysterio wanting drones and knows he has a glass.
So you might as well just make it so an accidental murder almost happens. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
Which again, Peter doesn't kill anybody as Spider-Man in the comics. Like I think he kills he will not kill. Like that's one of his things too.
Just Gwen Stacy, but that was an accident.
Yeah.
Oops, the daisies don't count.
He doesn't, and here he is about to kill a guy because earlier when they stop at the gas station on their way to when they're going on their way to Prague, he gets a new suit because he can't be seen as Spider-Man, and he takes off his pants, and the kid walks in the wrong room and takes a picture of him with no pants.
Yeah, I mean, and then that's what was it? Brad, right? Brad is the opposing love interest, the opposing suitor for MJ's fair hand. He stinks. He's another one. Again, these are very thinly created characters. They're like deli slice characters, like super thin and papery. Ugh, it's just a weird kind of archetype. Yeah, I know. Right.
You've already got the bully character. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go. I'll go after.
I would say you've already got the bully character with Flash. We don't need another one doing the same bit.
Yeah, exactly. And that bully character, he stinks. He is. I almost can't look at him. No offense, actor man.
He's just in here because he was in the first one, just because he's a big major character in the comics. So here's Flash doing nothing.
Literally,
and he did more in the first movie than he does in this movie. He feels unnecessary in this movie completely.
He talk about shitty influencers. He's got his Instagram or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, he's Snapchatting or whatever the children are doing these days. Yeah, I don't know. He's doing his live stream and he's saying all the affectations of someone who does that. And again, it's very twee, very annoying, and it's intended to be. Like, you're not supposed to be like, yeah, my man, Flash, but
him calling his followers the Flash Mob is actually pretty clever.
That is good. It's actually very good.
I mean, I did like the glasses when he could like see the digital stuff. Like when he looks like, oh, you see the fact that the guy's trying to find a picture of him on his phone. Like that stuff was amusing, but I just didn't like how he ends up calling a drone. He's talking out loud, and nobody's like, didn't that guy just say he's going to shoot somebody? Like a target? What? Like, I mean, nobody's listening to him.
It's very Watch Dogs.
Yeah,
the augmented reality stuff. I love it.
Is. You can just highlight somebody with your reticle and say, "Oh yeah, what's on their phone." I don't actually mind this too much. I like this concept, and again, this is all harkening back to old Iron Man stuff. How he is really not ready for all this technology and all this power and all this power that's been foisted upon him by the still after death irresponsible Tony Stark.
Tony. Like it's even in the Edith name, even dead, I'm the hero.
Yeah,
that was annoying too. I felt unnecessary to even put that dumb joke in there.
Yeah, right. And I like this idea of him. The first thing he does when he gets this connection to literally everyone's personal information, and why Tony Stark made this beyond my comprehension. Like, why he's spying on the world, Tony? Like, what's that all about? The first thing he tries to do is take off the picture that Brad took with him in his underwear, and I like that. It's like using a sledgehammer to hammer a nail, you know. It's
if he would have just like blew up his phone or did something of that nature.
But he was trying he was trying to access. He just kept saying target, but the robot inside the glasses thought target meant thing you kill with bullets from a drone. Clearly,
yeah. And then the way he dodges the bullet by moving the bus so it doesn't shoot him. No one knows the web before or after, but okay. Yeah, I mean, and the whole part where he jumps out, like, oh, look, baby goat, and jumps off the ceiling and jumps back in, like, I'm like,
it's fine. This all averages out to fine. I actually don't hate this whole sequence too much. Yeah, because I like establishing, but we're learning things about Peter Parker we already know. That's the problem here. We're not getting any new information about him. He's a kid. They gave him a toolbox of unlimited power. Well, of course, what's he going to do? He's going to play solitaire on his brand new gaming computer, like as people do. You know, that's kind of what he's doing because he's a dumb kid at the end of the day.
Yeah, I can't say anything. I have a real fancy laptop and I play emulation all the time from PS2 games. So, hey, that's what he do.
I got my new computer got my new computer yesterday, and the first thing I did was install Terraria. So
There it is. There it is.
pushing the system.
That's it. I turn up my Ken Griffey Jr. Presents Major League Baseball up to max settings on my rig. Oh, it's a great game. Are you kidding me? Fantastic. Anyway.
And then they get to Prague, and you have the Peter meeting with Fury. I don't remember where he meets him at. I just wrote down he meets with him.
So,
And then the next thing I have in my notes is sad Peter on bridge.
This
Where he doesn't-
where they're talking about the fire elemental showing up, and he gives them the whole "it destroyed my Earth," or was that earlier?
That was earlier.
Okay,
And he still didn't want to be involved, which also annoys me because one, Peter shouldn't be dealing with this type of a villain, you know, end of the world villain, because it's not Peter Parker, not Spider-Man. And also, he'd want to help save the day. He want to be, I'm on vacation, man. Like, call someone else.
Good.
No, it might kind of set it best. There really isn't a Spider-Man level threat.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Vulture made sense. Dr. Octopus and Spider-Man 2 made sense, sort of, from what I remember. I mean, Goblin made sense. This doesn't make sense.
I think he even says at one point in this that he's just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. This is above his pay grade or whatever.
Most of his villains are in the city of New York. They're smaller threats, and that's why he's dealing with them and not the Avengers and not the other people that exist in this world. I mean, this isn't like they even say an Avenger level threat. And as we saw, I mean, Falcon becoming Captain America before this movie happens, like he's around. What's he doing? No, he's too busy. You know, you have WandaVision already happens. So you have Wanda around. Like, you have other characters that are off, but nope, they can't. They're too busy. They can't be involved. Just Spider-Man handling himself in with a world-ending threat.
And he actually, but what I do like about this is that Peter does recognize this. Like, I don't want to be, and again, I really do like the push and pull of Peter Parker trying to not only be a high school kid and want that life, right? And want to pine for MJ and hang out with Ned and go on the school field trip and have some fun and learn some things and also be an Avenger. You know, I like that a lot. But the way this movie treats that is, in the end, he's always feels like he's being pulled along on the ride, like he's being coerced, because he's being manipulated the whole time. And I just, like you said, that takes away from the Spider-Man part of the Spider-Man movie, because he has no autonomy. He's not like really making many decisions until the very end, of course, but which makes this all seem very kind of formulaic and just kind of moving the plot along.
Well, yeah, we've never seen Spider-Man renounce his powers before in the movie.
No,
that's never happened.
No, it's fine. No, of course not.
And then,
he's always embraced them. He's always embraced them head on. You know?
And like the whole thing with you have Megama Man is coming, and their solution. Okay, we're gonna send all the kids to an opera instead of the carnival.
That's shit. Mega Man would have made this a much better movie.
Yes, it would. And I mean, to me, that was just kind of dumb too. I'm just like, I don't care for this.
Oh, I find that fine. I like that. You know, we're going to the opera and there's nobody there because there's a giant carnival going on and there's a party and there's like 8 people at the opera and these kids are just stuck there. I like that. That's fun.
It gives Ned more agency too. It's like, I think this is going to be a good experience. We should go do this.
I love this cultural experience. I think it's going to be great, guys.
I think I'll go with the carnival instead.
Well, a few do. You know, a few of them do.
I think most did.
I don't know.
Okay, it was funny where he trying to buy the glasses and he's going to sit with MJ, and then Nick Fury calls him and he has to run away and he can't be with MJ. Like, okay, that amused me, you know. But it's like, I don't know.
No, I felt for him. I genuinely felt for him. It was shades of the last movie, right? He's once again has to give up, you know, give up the love interest, give up the childlike stuff that he should be enjoying for this mission he doesn't really think he's up to the challenge for. He doesn't want really to do this. He's very reluctant. So I really fell for him that one. I thought it was pretty effective. Like, no, you're going to sit next to MJ.
I didn't like the way Megma Man shows. I'm going to keep saying that. Megma Man shows up. Like, I just don't like it. I mean, he comes out of the ground all of a sudden. Oh, here's the fire monster. Because again, how the fuck are these drones doing this? When you understand where the movie's going and what he's actually doing, like, it doesn't make sense to me. And I mean, I'm okay. I mean, it could have been Mysterio is a wizard. Okay, I would have bought 100%. It's a movie. I'm like, but the fact that you ground this villain in reality where he's using droids or, you know, drones just doesn't fit. And
it's more than it doesn't fit. It's because when at this point in the movie, if you're me, I'm still unsure if this guy's the villain or not. I just think it all seems very rushed to me. So, and again, I'm a moviegoer and I know how long I've been watching the TV. Like, we're 40 minutes in, we're already fighting what looks like a climactic battle. Something ain't up with this only other character that's clearly major. You know, something's up with this. There is an end villain that we've been introduced to that's not here. I wonder if Mysterio's it, but at this point, you still think he's fighting a real fire monster. You know.
Well,
So
plus the other thing is, I mean, you take a character, an established character in a fiction, even if you still knew Mysterio was a villain. Like, I mean, even if you didn't know who he was, you knew he's a villain character, didn't you? I'm assuming.
No, I actually didn't.
Oh,
I didn't know that. No, I had a funny feeling because I'm like, well, I know the Marvel heroes. And I've heard the term Mysterio. Actually, when I before he even called himself Mysterio, I saw the guy with the green head, and I'm like, oh, I've seen that guy with the green head. Is he good or is he bad? Well, he's fighting the monster, so I guess he's good. I honestly didn't really clue into it until really like right before it was revealed. My wife and I both went, "Oh, you're the bad guy. Okay, okay, all right, cool." You know,
okay, I can buy it better then because I'm so immersed in the Spider-Man lore in general, so I know a lot about the character in general.
Yeah.
And to me, as soon as I heard Mysterio, I'm like, oh, he's the villain. Like, there's no question.
Yeah.
There's no way else they're going to do this.
It's kind of what I touched on earlier. Like, sometimes in murder mysteries, if they show the villain, you know, killing the person right at the top, it kind of gives the sense of, okay, well, how are they going to get their comeuppance here in the end?
Right.
And that can lead to a really satisfying conclusion, but this movie doesn't even do that. It's just most people are going to go in. It's like, hey, Mysterio's the villain, so all this is just a wash, and then his motivation's garbage anyway. So
yeah, exactly, and the payoff's garbage anyway. Exactly. So it's all for naught. You know, it's all for a dumb end game. But I mean, I don't know. But the filmmakers also have to keep the comic book fans in mind in this. Like, they have to understand that 65% of the people watching this movie know who Mysterio is, and they're going to know immediately he's the bad guy. They have to know that. So they can't completely lean on this trickery. And these filmmakers are really big on tricking you as much as humanly possible to the point of incomprehension.
It doesn't work like in some movies, like Memento, for example, where like that, I mean, it's not an established thing. So you don't, when the movie does what the movie does later on, where you find out who the really villain is, what really happened, it surprises you. If anyone who knew anything about Mysterio, they're like, oh yeah, Mysterio's an illusionist. Everything's fake. He's the villain, period. Like, there is no question.
Right.
Yeah,
there's
like
no way he'd be
mutants.
doing. Okay.
No, it's the New Mutants. As soon as you know that, crap, what's her name?
The nurse girl.
No, the mutant that can make you see your fears. Why, Moonstar. Jesus Christ, Daniel Moonstar. As soon as you realize she's in it, the horror thing is like, okay, well, most of this is just her illusion then.
I was a dumbass. I had no idea who she was when I watched that movie. I'm like, I don't know who the hell Moonstar is. I don't know anything about New Mutants. So that threw me for a loop. But
And I can't stop thinking about now the fire monster, like you said, Michael, as Mega Man. I really want him every time he's walking around.
Actually, Mega Man 9 had a Magma Man, so.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Both of them.
You're right. There is a Magma Man. You're right. Very good.
And this is when you have the dumb scene where Ned sees him. They're like, and the girl's like, that looks like Spider-Man. No, that's Night Monkey. Like,
oh, Night Monkey.
I don't know. Night Monkey, whatever.
Well, also the stealth suit isn't really much of a stealth suit. He looks just like Spider-Man, but in a black suit.
Yeah, he shoots the web and everything. Even MJ later, like, oh, Night Monkey uses the same webs as Spider-Man. That's weird.
Like, I don't know. It just.
Is that suit from something?
No.
It's kind of. It looks kind of like the noir Spider-Man, but not.
Yeah, kind of.
It's just stupid.
Kind of like
it was
Spider-Man?
tease.
Sorry, I missed that.
When people see a black suit Spider-Man, they're going to think of Venom. So I think it was kind of a tease. Like, oh, look, he's in a black suit. Yeah, it's not really. It's just a stupid, like, costume.
Okay, so it was just a tactical uniform, Fury stitched together himself in the back room of his cave. Okay, very good.
It's dumb. Very dumb. And, like, when you have the whole fight with Mysterio versus Magma, like, the amount of damage he does also bothers me because it's not real, yet the damage is happening, yet it doesn't. The only one that makes sense in this entire movie is the last one makes sense with the drone. The rest don't make any sense.
Right, and they don't retroactively make sense because, again, he's using drones because he had the holographic technology that Tony Stark stole and called barf. Okay.
Well, Tony Stark made him and fired them. So they were working for Tony Stark.
Of course
then he fired them and canceled the project, and they're upset that the project that they worked on, the company they worked for, scrapped it.
He tells Beck that he's unstable.
I know.
Which we find out is quite true.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, this is also when
It's
Spider-Man
basically-
grabs
well,
the camera by accident and pulls down a camera, but doesn't even notice that he did it, even though I even noticed it.
Well, I don't know what it was. He pulled something off, and I thought it was one of his like web shooters. I actually asked my Jim, can you rewind that real quick? What did he throw off there? And then we watched it again, and we're like, oh, it was a hunk of metal. I don't know.
I don't know. I figured that maybe that would have triggered something. Him like, wait a second, but I guess he's not paying attention.
Yeah, he kind of gives it a what the, and that's about it.
Yeah,
like what just happened.
He's got bigger flames to fry.
And this is when
Wah, wah.
Mysterio almost kills himself, like, flies into Magma Man and then survives, like that whole scene.
Yeah, and that actually fooled me too. I thought he was gonna die, and I'm like, wait a minute, we're 45 minutes in. No, this doesn't make sense. And then we survived. I'm like, ooh, something's up. And then, of course, you get the reveal. So a lot of this this did fool me. Maybe I'm just basic Bill here, but a lot of this did kind of fool me because I have no connection to the source material. I'm just moviegoer, Okay, I see a guy in a orange, green head shooting green fireballs out of his hands. I assume he's a good dude. He's fighting a big generic monster.
I mean, if you didn't know who Mysterio was, I can get that. Just like with the New Mutant thing, where I didn't know who Daniel Moonstar was, so I didn't understand where it was going.
Yeah. But you also have to take into account, again, you have to take into account the people that do. And Michael has a very good solution for that. Make it clear up front, right? And then the fun is, how is Mysterio and Spider-Man going to kind of work this thing out? How is this battle going to play out? And that's actually interesting. And you can build character around those interactions. We don't do that here.
And this is where, like, in the whole bar, you have this whole scene where he's breaking down the back, and he's like, you know what? You take the glasses. Peter or Tony Stark knew that I'm too young for this. Like, why are you giving to somebody? Like, he just gives, and the whole point, and then you find out, because after he gives them, this is where you have the big scene where it's a fake bar, and it was all a fraud, and like I kind of made a joke earlier where he's like, and Tom did this. Good job, Tom. Yeah,
the guy that Obadiah Stane yells at. Tony made this in a box. Oh my God. Let me try this again.
It's fine.
The guy that Obadiah Stane yells at says, Tony Stark made this in a box. Oh my God. I give up.
Yeah,
it's from the first Iron Man movie. Is it the same actor?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't never notice. That's kind of cool.
Oh, no?
It looks kind of CG'd in.
Oh, really? Okay.
The throwback shot.
Huh.
I mean, we could go watch Iron Man 1 and find out.
I wouldn't mind that, but
or we could pull up IMDb, but I don't even want to do that.
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant, but that's what it's. I mean, I guess that also bothers me because everything that they go through right now is all about Tony Stark and how Tony Stark screwed them because he fired them from the company they worked for, and they lost their job and their project didn't go anywhere, and that's what they're all mad about. Peter Parker really isn't your villain. Isn't like this is not. I don't like it. It should have been more like corporate espionage, not let's destroy the world and trick Nick Fury, one of the smartest people alive, just so I can be famous.
And what does this group of super nerds get to gain out of any of this? Like, what do they get to gain out of him becoming like superhero man?
You know how much money you would need for that to do what they do? And I don't think they have money.
They must have been paid pretty well, I guess. He's got, they got the whole lair where they're testing out all this tech. It's all very ham-handed. And when Peter Parker hands over the glasses, my wife and I, of course, when we realized, okay, now we get it. Mysterio's no good. But we're screaming at the movie, don't do that. Here's the problem. Peter Parker is a dumb kid. I've been saying this the whole time. He's also a genius kid, and he's not stupid. He's emotionally dumb.
I mean,
he's
the other problem with this is they literally explain the entire plot of the movie and everything that just happened and why it happened and how it happened, even though it still doesn't make sense. I mean, a movie shouldn't have 2 minutes where you have to explain everything like that.
Oh, you mean when Mysterio's, like you said, he's giving the thesis statement on what he's trying to do to all the people he's hired who know exactly what they're doing? Yeah.
It didn't work for me. I mean, I can buy it in certain situations where you're bragging to somebody, but you're bragging to the people that you guys just did what you did. Like, you don't need to. They all know. I don't know. It's
just
so
exposition.
Yeah. And it's done in a way that's actually playful, which actually is okay. Like the way it's executed is playful, but like you said, Mike, it is just like that exposition dump where you're just kind of, all right, here's the grand plan. Let's move on and now execute the grand plan. But there's so many holes in all of this science, like so many holes.
And the other part that bothers me, the whole reason that he even gives them the glasses, because he wants to go ask MJ out, and he can't ask her out when he has this amount of power.
What?
That's what it was. Like, he gives the glasses up because he doesn't want. He's on vacation.
Right. You can't just put them in his pocket and think about it. Like he's got this insane.
It's not like he's running a company or anything. They're just glasses that give him drone satellite. He could just be like, I'll deal with it later.
It's not turning in a key card, Pete. Like you're giving this guy the source of ultimate power. And the whole reason is, you know what? You deserve it. You deserve it because you fighted a generic CGI water monster.
Look, because he saw him like willing to sacrifice himself, so he thought. So he's like, well, this guy's obviously a good guy, so let's give it to him. He can be the next Iron Man.
But it's not like you don't have a frame of reference. You watched Captain America. Like you hung out with Captain America and the heroes and the Avengers who did amazing things of self-sacrifice. Like this dope who shows up and doesn't really die. You know, it gives the monologue, I have to do what I did back on Earth. It's so out of character, even for a emotionally manipulated Peter Parker, who is being manipulated by Mysterio, clearly. But even if with that lens, it's such a dopey, dumb move that doesn't fit with his character.
It gets dumber. Like when they're on the bridge and he's talking to MJ and she drops the camera and all of a sudden he sees the illusion, which is what's coming up, Mysterio, doing the rehearsing. And he's like, oh no, I screwed up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, but also it just bothers me that he even had that type of power and he had the ability to just give it away. I feel like Tony Stark would have built him something where he couldn't just give it away.
Mm-hmm.
It bothered me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fine. Again, you got to get the plot moving. It's a plot moving device. It is fun to watch MJ and him interact, even though it's awkward. Yeah. And it's fine. The thing falls out. Boom. It shows the hologram, and then he sees Mysterio, and they put 2 and 2 together. Oh, this was all an illusion. Which again, now as the audience, your brain is thinking back because you're a rational person. Wait a minute. How did a hologram that's clear, that has no physical weight to it, and destroy all these things and move water and make Peter wet? Yeah, how did Peter get wet? How did Peter get splashed with a wall of water by the water monster in Venice if it was just a hologram?
Because nothing. The camera scooped up water with a little bucket, dumped it on him.
This movie, here's what I'm going to say. Here's my thesis statement. This movie has no rules.
But also,
rules.
He needed the drones from Tony because those drones are better for him to make the giant creature that we're getting close to. Yet he already made a giant water monster and a giant fire monster, so he must have drones that are powerful enough to do this. Why does he need other drones?
Right, and how does he know that the glasses can create these drones and give him access to it? Where I guess he knew,
because in that big exposition, he tells that one of the people heard about the glasses that Nick Fury had, that he was then going to give it to Peter Parker.
Right, he went to the quest marker on the map, and then the kindly shopkeeper told him about the glasses to get in.
I'm liking this movie less and less the more we talk about it.
I am liking
it more greatly. We get more great Zendaya in this scene though, where she figures out that he's Spider-Man.
I love this.
Good. That was funny. She's like, I was watching you.
It's like, I mean, Washington, you kind of disappeared, and then Spider-Man was there. Like, it's really obvious.
She's not wrong. I mean,
yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how
obvious. Like, he's not that smart about it. So, I mean, that was. And this is when they go to Berlin, and it was some point on his way to Berlin or somewhere where you have the seatbelt joke when he gets in the car with Nick Fury and he can't get the seatbelt on and he breaks it or something.
Yeah.
All I could think of was Ferris Bueller's Day Off again somehow. Just that's what it reminded me of.
Did we miss the whole scene when we're in Mysterio's lair?
Although that's the rehearsal. Yeah, I did break past. Yeah, there's that whole like where he's showing how he's training for the video, like training for the big Avenger level threat. He says, and that's when he threatens to kill everybody. And you said like he's doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like no one wants a bullet in their head, and then you see the drones kind of swoop in on everyone with lasers pointed at their foreheads. Yeah, this guy's not right.
Yeah, but isn't Will the guy's name is William, I think, right? The guy behind the guy who Obadiah memed at. It wasn't that like a big meme at the time?
Oh yeah.
The meme target is that can't he just like Control Alt Delete and just shut everything down? Like hit Task Manager and just kill the process?
There's something I'm sure he could have done.
Isn't he controlling that? Like what? Yes. And how is Mysterio's Pip-Boy, overrides his giant screens? Like I'm not gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it again. Nothing makes sense.
No. I mean, the guy's in charge because when you look at it, he tells the guy, the bald guy, what to do. What do you want? He says, "Hey, do this now," or it's not him controlling it.
Yeah, give me like double the firepower. I really want to see things crumble and fall apart.
But all of a sudden, he's controlling it when the script says, "Now he controls." Okay, you got it. He got control for this minute now. Stupid.
Dumb.
Weird. And okay, so then we get to like my favorite part of this movie when they go to the fake headquarters with Nick Fury, and then it turns out that the drones end up shooting Fury, and you find out that that they're in a construction yard. This is Mysterio. This is real Mysterio in the comics, straight from the idea of the comic, where everything is an illusion, and he's showing Peter these things that you know are obviously illusions, like glasses coming at him and just all different random things. Yet Peter doesn't know what's real and what's not. And it's a hallucination type thing. Like, it reminds me of the Scarecrow in the Arkham games. Like, I love this part. Like, this is what this should have been more of in this movie, not freaking elemental monsters.
Mm-hmm.
The illusion
actually make him a villain from up front, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, or just have him, like the normal way Mysterio would do it, he would make illusions like this, and then this is what would trick people, or this is what would make people think, not make giant monsters that then destroy things that don't make any sense in a movie that doesn't make sense, and people talk about it in podcasts and complain. Like, don't do that. just have him make illusions of things where people see what he wants them to see, like in a movie. That's what he is. He's a guy who worked in the movies and was an illusionist and ended up becoming a villain. Like, that's the whole point of Mysterio.
I strongly disagree.
Well, in the comics, that's the whole point of Mysterio. Sorry.
Oh, no. I just strongly disagree that this scene is good. This scene sucks. I don't like this at all.
You don't like this?
No. Here's why.
Okay, no, please don't.
It's visually interesting. It's visually neat, all the trickery and all that stuff. But as I just said earlier, there's no rules to this. They built this on just doing whatever they want, built off the idea. We've already seen what's creating this stuff is projectors. And how are projectors creating like these dark environments and doing all this trickery? Because we see later when you're inside the projection, it's all weird purple and orange lights where you can see the projectors. Okay. So they're like shining around him, but he's moving back and forth in physical space. So is he on the ground? Is he in a building? What this is trying to do is fuck with our brains along with Spider-Man's. And the problem with that is that this is when I stood up and yelled, "What is happening? What is happening in this movie?" Like, it doesn't make any sense, because now we're in a situation where the movie is just trying to trick you as the audience. It's trying to make you question every little thing. What's real? What's not? Cool. Great. But there's no rules around it. So it just turns into like a kid waving his hands in your face to confuse you, as opposed to actually building a scenario where you are confused and you're really questioning everything. I thought this sucked. I thought this was completely just wizardry mumbo jumbo. It works in Doctor Strange because he's a wizard and we're not supposed to know how wizarding works. He's just a wizard. And then it works in that realm because it is weird and strange and interesting with babies with 8 hands and whatever else it was. But in this, I don't know. I really didn't like it. It just really annoyed me, clearly.
I think Mike likes it for the reason that you pointed out right up front, is that it's visually appealing because it does look super cool.
It's the only thing in this movie that looks neat, other than
because you made it now that it doesn't make sense with the rules that the movie decided when it comes to the end scene. And now you took my favorite part of this movie and you took it away from me.
I'm sorry.
Well, we get to see zombie Iron Man.
That's awesome. I was very pleased with that. That's the only thing I wrote in here as the positive. Zombie Iron Man was pretty great. Although, yes, we have another Iron Man. And
I do like how you get hit by the train. Oh no! Right before you hit by the train, you have the fake Fury shows up and arrests Mysterio. Like, that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
and then the train hits him because everything was still an illusion.
Because during the rehearsal, they find out that one of the projectors is missing. He finds out that Peter has it, so he needs to figure out who else has it because it's evidence that they could use to track back to him.
Fine.
So all of this is just to figure out who else knows about it.
Which is fine. Again, you're going to confuse a 17-year-old with your trickery. Fine. Again, it's just, and this would have actually been better before we learned about the tech behind it, because then you could have said the mystery and they're like, how is this working? But then my brain is going, wait, but these are projectors doing this. Doesn't make sense. I don't remember if Peter actually touches any of the illusions, because if he does, then the whole movie's destroyed.
He tries to punch Mysterio and he hits a pillar that shows real briefly.
Yeah.
Right. What's the pillar? How do you make a hologram pillar unless you timed it perfectly?
I think it's actually there. Yeah,
it's already there.
Yeah, it was like that actually there. Again, this
it's because it's a construction site.
Because construction, yeah. And then who is controlling this? Is someone sitting there frantically typing in the commands from like 100 miles away? Is he using his Pip-Boy? How is this happening? Nothing makes sense.
a decent point because they're going through the rehearsal so they clearly have to plan out these projections ahead of
course they
schedule,
do.
but they just found out that Peter has this thing, so they set all this up in like a matter of minutes.
Yeah, they had a template for this one building.
You're ruining this movie even worse. This might move down on the list that I had it on.
Nothing.
Man, we're up there with cinema sins right now.
Yeah, we are, which is not like us though.
Wait, what are we like?
Cinema sins on YouTube. They get really nitpicky just for the sake of being buttholes about it.
YouTube.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm being too picky. This is just my. I'm giving my natural reaction. I'm just giving my natural reaction to the moment. Like
you're wanting your movie to follow the rules that the movie put forward, not give you rules in one scene, another scene change those rules, and change those rules again, so there are no rules.
Right, because then nothing makes sense. Because our brains, even though you may say, "Hey, just turn your brain off and enjoy the movie," our brains don't work like that because then we die. So your brains are still working, even though you're just relaxing watching a movie. And
there's things they could have taken with, like, if you want to go and have a thing where things don't follow rules and you need to have characters or abilities that don't fit with what, can be anything. Like if you want to do magic or something of that nature where the rules can be rewritten. But when you're trying to ground this in reality, like, they're trying to ground this as an illusionist, as a person that is a real, just a regular person, then you gives you other issues when it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you can't Doctor Strange this. This is what this movie's trying to do. It's trying to do Doctor Strange. And again, Strange is good because, again, he's using wizardry we don't understand, but we know we can't understand it. And there's enough of a baseline for it once you learn it. It takes time. It takes an hour to get to a lot of the, well, again, that opening, world bending stuff. But clearly these people are wizards and they have some sort of magic powers. Mysterio is just a dude with some technology that clearly can create solid holograms.
Because they easily could have given Mysterio powers of the illusion, like he has powers somehow, some experiment, like something they could have made up instead of taking a character that literally is grounded in reality and then going the way they go with him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like Vulture, for example, again, it's a guy that's grounded in reality. He has a cool technology jetpack type thing that he uses, and he's just, there's things they could have done where this just doesn't work.
No, this whole thing doesn't work, and I strongly dislike it, and I apologize if I ruined it for you two. But I don't know. It's just again, it was not to reiterate the point, but it really felt like a young child waving his hands in my face, trying to confuse me, and me being very confused, but also very, very irritated. I was close to if it wasn't for the show, I would have probably turned it off at that point. Say it's 11. My kid wakes up at 7 on the dot every day. It's fine.
Aren't you glad you didn't see this in theaters and pay for it?
I am extremely glad. Oh wow, Mike! Thank you for that. Just made that bumped it up 2 spots higher. The fact that I didn't pay. Oh, I did pay to see this. I had to watch it on dopey Amazon for $3. So,
but hey, you spent $3 instead of spending
versus like 20.
Yeah, that's right. No. This is definitely a cost benefit boon for me. Unlike Reanimator, which you can watch on YouTube for free. Remember, Mike?
I did not. I signed up for Shudder for a week for free. The thing is, like, we watched Reanimator, and it made more sense to me. He had a goo that resurrected people than it does in this movie.
Yes, it does.
and I can't get over that. I keep thinking about that. I'm like, you have a dumb movie from the 80s that made more sense than this movie that was made by, millions of dollars were spent and huge franchise, and yet a dumb movie about a guy that has a scene where he's like, should I leave you a note and tell you cat dead and details later? Like, I mean, you have that as a scene, and yet that movie made more sense than this movie.
No.
And then this is when Peter Parker wakes up in Netherland jail because he got hit by the train. But wasn't he wearing the Spider-Man suit when this happens? Or no, he was wearing the black suit, Spider-Monkey suit, or Night Monkey.
Yeah.
This was also like kind of
these extras are great.
Yeah, are these like soccer hooligans? Like,
yes,
that was it. Yeah, okay.
Because soccer is huge, or football is huge in Europe and everything. Yeah. Like, it's huge.
Everyone's
people. I don't realize it. Like, there's a whole documentary that I watched. I forgot what it's called now, but it's about the city that has its own like small soccer team or football team that, and like they talk about like the season, how if you're bad in a season, you get to a lower league, so therefore you lose a lot of your money you make from advertisements. You have to fire people. Like it, and it's all realistic. Like it's all, I mean, not realistic, but it's all just what happened that season. Like it's completely just, they're just filming it as it's happening.
Yeah.
And you realize how much people in Europe love their football. Because to us, we're like, who gives a shit? Most of us.
I have a buddy of mine who grew up in Scotland, and he lives in Scotland now. He moved back, and he always tells me stories of soccer in Scotland. There's two main teams: the Rangers and I think the Celtics or something like that. I'm gonna get that wrong. Someone's gonna punch me.
That's fine.
And how those two teams are, if you walk into a Rangers bar dressed in the opposing team's colors, you are going to get your ass handed to you. Like there will be physical violence visited upon you. So
like
yes,
their version of the
soccer
Bloods and the Crips.
Oh, it's great. He was a bouncer for a while, and he's like, yeah, it's ugly. Like you don't want to walk around Edinburgh with like the wrong jersey on because it's going to be a bad scene for you. So yeah, people are obsessed with their football in England and around the world. Yeah,
this part was funny where he breaks Peter Parker breaks the lock and leaves, and you see the guard wearing the mask, the night monkey mask, and then the drunk guys just close the gate back and sitting down.
You want nothing to do with that.
I'm talking about the guards. Like, he's on his break. He's talking to his wife. She's pregnant. Oh yeah. It's just, everyone's just super nice.
Yeah.
Isn't everyone known for being nice too? Like, isn't that part of the joke in this right here?
I just think of Canada when they talk about people being overly nice.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. We should ask Greg sometime. And this is when he borrows the phone in the market, which I thought was funny too. The guy's like, "Oh, here, have my phone." Like he's like, "Where are you? You're in something."
Oh, geez. Like to the point where they had to put the subtitle up. It's like,
I mean, I didn't catch that because subtitles are already up anyway for me because I only watch movies with subtitles. So
that's so weird.
I'm assuming that when Happy Hogan parks the jet, like that's supposed to be like a famous flower field or something because it looks familiar, like things I've seen before.
Just poor tulips.
Yeah,
that's what I thought too. Like,
this is a really pretty field that is laying this jet right in the middle of it.
Yeah, exhaust fumes blowing the pedals off. Yeah, come on now, guys.
It was, and then this is when he's in the plane. And he asks him something like, "Oh, what's your password?" It's password spelled out.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. I like that. You're the head of security.
The head password? Of security.
The thing is, I think that joke is pretty realistic with people that are stupid because there are a lot of people out there who have really simple passwords.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not. I can believe that.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
According to a quick search, Netherlands are just known for their tulip fields, so I guess they're all over.
Oh, okay.
All right, so just destroy a random tulip field. No one cares.
Just like a landmark because I recognized it kind of like from a commercial or somewhere. It jotted something in my memory, and I'm just like, okay. So that's why I thought maybe it was something more like known, but okay, makes sense.
Let's talk about Tony some more.
Yeah, there's a line in here that really upset me. And I thought of you, Michael, because you've been warning me about this for literally years now. That he says everyone wants to be the next Iron Man. No, they don't. Happy, they don't. Not everyone wants to be the next Iron Man. But again, the constant name dropping really hits home here. You see Pete. He's manipulating the computer, and Happy's looking on like a proud papa. Like, Mini Stark.
Yeah, exactly. These are all just homages to Iron Man 1.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool, man. We get it.
Great. Yeah, exactly. We get it. You're gonna fabricate a suit that doesn't look all that cool. It's fine.
The suit is from the comics, though. Like the little web things that he has. Those are from the comics.
Those. The web gliders.
Well, he had those in Homecoming too when he jumps off the Washington Monument.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I don't remember that movie that well.
It's better than this one.
Yeah,
it's way better than this one.
Yeah, miles better than this one.
I don't remember it very well, but I remember liking it. So I didn't leave this movie.
And this is the scene too which I think is a big black mark, and a movie full of black marks against it. This is when he starts playing the Zeppelin soundtrack. Like he starts playing it.
No, he plays AC/DC.
Was that AC/DC? Oh, that's right.
It's Back in Black, which is
because it's the first song from Iron Man.
Right.
But he tells him, I love this Led Zeppelin song.
Yeah, that's why I got confused. Yes, he plays Back in Black, which again, like you said, is that reference to the very first song played in the first Iron Man. And then, of course, the joke is that Peter Parker doesn't know it. He thinks it's Zeppelin, and which fooled me because I'm just writing notes and not paying attention.
We do get a good line earlier when Fury gives him the glasses. He says the heavy is the hand that wears the crown. Stark says you wouldn't get that because it's not a Star Wars reference.
That's good.
That's pretty good.
It's very good. Yep. And then I have written here, Brad is a tool. That's right, because they're walking around in London, and Brad is basically like, hey, everyone, does anyone have a problem with Pete? Does anyone have an issue? And everyone just looks at him like an asshole. And of course, MJ and gives of course, being just great. Gosh, he's so good. Just kind of
dude, why are you taking pictures of people in the bathroom?
And that ends Brad's arc. Brad's done.
Yeah, nowhere. Went nowhere.
Nowhere. Goes nowhere.
The other teacher's like, hey, I'm going to be the cool teacher. You got to stop this. You got to stop doing that. That's weird.
And again, may I say again, JB Smoove is so great. I really like him.
And this is
I remember him from Curb Your Enthusiasm. He was good in that.
And then this is when I never seen that. This is where they get on the bus because now Mysterio used the glasses to alter their bus route, and sends a bus to go get him with a guy that works for him driving it.
Yeah, the writer dude.
The writer, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
cool. Great.
And I really thought, like, at one point, because he brings the box to the kill zone, like, I thought he was just going to lock the doors of the bus and leave them there. He leaves the doors unlocked, and they just run out with everybody else. And I'm like...
he's just trying to get Ned, Betty, and MJ there because Pete said that they might know, or they do know about the projector, so he has to take them out so they can't tell anyone else.
Right.
Yeah, this is also when you have a little scene where Happy calls Fury and like, I got your surfboard for you. That dumb thing.
Yeah. What is that? This bit?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's supposed to be like a coded message. Obviously, we find out later. But like, it made no sense to me.
No, it's just like saying something really like that doesn't fit the character. Maybe it's a reference to something in one of the other movies. Like I know in Captain Marvel, there's a part where he says something to the Skrull where he's like, hey, remember when we went and did this? Like, yeah, you went first. And it's all a lie. So maybe that was part of it, like that same idea.
I don't know. But again, you have to live in the moment of the movie, right? And in the moment of the movie, clearly he's speaking in code of some sort. But again, like Michael said, what is this? Like, again, no rules, no setup. Yeah, just nonsense words on the phone.
Fury brings it up later. He's like, oh, you should have just waved and whatever. Like, it was super obvious, but I still don't know what the fuck they were trying to convey.
No, it's just dumb. It feels like a joke just to be a joke. I didn't like it. Like, the whole, like, so he's trying to kill Fury, and their whole thing is Fury has Maria Hill, who I couldn't even remember the character's name at all. I was like, Kobe Smulders. I'm like, Robin. No, that's not it.
Robin Sparkles.
Yeah, I could not remember her. And the whole thing is she climbs up the tower to pull a rocket launcher out. So if there's a drone in front of him going to kill him, once it reveals itself, she'll blow it up. Like, it's like, they know how I don't even get it. Like, I didn't understand it. I'm like, even if they know they're drones, how do they know the drone's not already in the office with them or something else? Like, there's so many other ways he could have killed him than literally have a drone sit there and put a bullet in his head.
This is my favorite line in the entire movie, though, when the monster's getting big and Fury's like, oh, what's going on? Mysterio is like, it's retelling what the stupid writer's coming up with.
Yeah.
And Fury's like, well, that's some bullshit. It's just like, no, I'm done with this crap. That's dumb. It's so good. Like Bill said, the Samuel L. Jackson's always a win. He's great.
Yeah, even though he's not really playing Nick Fury,
yeah,
kind of find out he does a good job playing Nick Fury, someone else being Nick Fury.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. And then I put my notes 3D printed suit because that's how it looked when you see his new suit being made.
Pretty much.
I guess I wanted something else. Like I would have rather had something closer to the Iron Spider suit, like the real version from the comics.
Or just anything like classic. It's just a red and black suit. It looks kind of like the Alex Ross one, I guess, but nah.
It wasn't. I didn't care for the suit.
Yeah, the suit, I was really, whenever you have like a cool suit moment in Marvel movies, it's always an improvement, right? Like the suit he was wearing during the fundraiser was like the one with the spider arms, and it's like really cool, metallic and awesome. It's just like, it looked like a dumb suit, like no imagination to it. I was really expecting some like awesome Spider-Man suit. What's the upgrade? Kind of like the end of, I won't say in case you haven't seen it, but I was expecting a really cool upgrade, and it wasn't. So the fashionista in me was not impressed by this.
And this is when the Wind Monster shows, or you have the Wind Monster showing up, and like it's a fuse of all of different elements. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of Hercules, the animated movie, when I saw this.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the way when it shows how it's doing it. Like you see the drones in the water shooting. Like this made sense. And then it made me really question the water monster earlier in the movie and really question the fire monster.
Of course it does. It doesn't follow any rules. And now it has to follow rules now because you see them, you know the whole story. So now they have to make somewhat sense.
And it's just, and like, I like the idea how he gets dropped in. He dropped in Peter Parker into the illusion, and he's taken out the drones. But again, it also ruined the part that I didn't think about this time, where earlier in the movie that I talked about, where I liked, where Mysterio's being Mysterio in the construction site. This completely makes that part irrelevant, and it upset me now.
But we finally get Spider-Man in this Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
because he kicks some major ass in this whole scene.
This is the first time we get him, isn't it?
Yeah,
in his suit.
Yeah, because he which also brings up the beginning of the movie. Exactly. Because he didn't, and then he had to do the stupid Night Monkey suit because he didn't want people's, Spider-Man's in Europe, Peter's in Europe, it might be him, he could be seen as Spider-Man, but now he's just out in the public as Spider-Man, so whatever.
Right.
But anyway, the only time we've seen him use the powers before is when he's keeping the building from falling in Venice, and then he takes out the drone that's coming to kill Brad, and then he does a couple of things around the carnival. But this is the first time we see him go full bore Spider-Man, and it's great to watch.
Well, also at the carnival, he wasn't in Spider-Man suit though.
Right. Well, he's in the Night Monkey suit.
Yeah, that's not Spider-Man. You have that one scene would be early on with Hydro Man where he puts on a carnival mask and jumps around as a high school student.
But I think there's
stupid.
Yeah,
I thought it was Assassin's Creed.
Anyone in his classes, he seems like, Peter was wearing those same clothes. That's weird.
They have the same backpack too, huh?
That's interesting. It's interesting. It's funny you mentioned that because he does some spidery stuff throughout, but you really want to see the Spider-Man you like, and it makes me sound petulant. I understand that, but you want to see Spider-Man, the character, doing his Spider-Man things against.
Well, that's why you're here for the Spider-Man movie.
That's why I'm here.
Exactly.
Flashes of it, the sparks of it, like him using his web to turn the car so Brad doesn't get killed, and the little flashes of it that are here, there, and everywhere.
I forgot about
yeah,
like he's at the front of the bus. There's no way someone didn't see that.
Yeah, come on, exactly. And like we said, we know the stuff deteriorates after 2 hours, not 3 seconds. Like it's still sitting there, I'm sure, on the right. Again, doesn't make sense. Nobody
like the shock web was cool. How you have that scene where he's building this. I'm put a shock web in that he uses one time to stop the drones, and he never uses it again.
I missed that because I was writing my notes furiously. I look up and all the drones, of course, are getting destroyed because he's inside the drone. Again, he's inside the hologram, and that's what I guess looks like inside the hologram.
Ruins other parts of me.
Which why you can go inside the hologram, which means there's no permanence, which means everything else. Like, why was the water getting moved? Right?
They were all little buckets.
Yeah, exactly. A bunch of people like splash. Anyway, I mean, I missed that. I'm like, why are these things getting destroyed? But I'm Spider-Man movie. I'm sure something happened. But so he was shocking them with Shockweb, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is when Happy then lands the jet. It's like, come on, get inside, and it blows up instantly.
Yeah. Yeah. Turn around, and they go to the vault, which is a bit of a fillery scene. Them inside the vault.
Plus, wouldn't that be locked up more?
I don't know. Yeah.
I was like, they're not gonna I'm pretty sure they're not just gonna let you like go into a vault. Yes, I know that they have the stuff on display in the background, but I feel like it wouldn't be that easy. I mean, especially they would have shut down the place.
I get their citywide panic throughout London right now, so maybe the guards
you had the Britain guards or whatever the hell they're called. I can't remember that name. The Buckingham guards with submachine guns shooting down drones. That was kind of funny.
That was pretty good.
And then this is also when you have I did like the scene when they're in the museum and she grabs the mace and she maces the drone with a big giant mace. That was cool.
And this screams to me just giving the other characters something to do, Like they just need to do something. What are they going to do this whole time? Cower and hide? Yeah.
When you have Happy throw the shield, that was stupid.
Fun. I like that.
So
I got to laugh at that.
Yeah, him throwing the shield is good, but then they had to go to the Thor Ragnarok route where he has to say something about it. It's like, how does Cap do that? Like, you just have him throw the shield,
have the joke, and leave it. Walk away.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Yeah, you don't need to say. You don't need to point out your joke.
But... No, life's always better when you explain the joke after the fact. It always works. It's much better. That's good. That's funny.
I disagree, but can be sometimes. And then this is when you have Spider-Man getting chased by the drones. You have them hiding in the safe, and we're gonna die. And it's the same time when Spider-Man is trying to get to Mysterio, who he figured out is in this little catwalk, and he takes. It's kind of like a weird little scene where he grabs a sign, uses his shield to deflect the drone, and uses a camera.
He builds the bomb. You get
Yeah.
to see Peter being an actual genius.
Yep.
And then
I see that very often in this movie.
he jumps and kind of gets boosted up by the sonic boom cannon.
Yeah.
Very cool.
These are all cool things.
Spider-Man.
These are all cool things. Everything here is pretty cool. Again, it's just fun watching him swing around and destroy things. Even though there's no real stakes here, it's just a Marvel thing, and it's just what it is. Again, I never love when they're fighting robots, and drones that have no utility or brains. So it just seems like chaff and things to fight against. But it gives our character and our hero opportunities to do cool things like that. And that was very cool. I'm like, oh, I am now having fun. Yay! I'm having fun.
I did like when he gets to Mysterio and you have the illusion in the hallway again, but this time he knows it's fake, so he's using his Peter Tingle. We haven't made that joke yet.
Yeah, which we haven't talked about.
We're going to now. Because throughout this movie, they make this joke where Peter's Spider-Sense, they call it the Peter Tingle. And it's just so stupid.
Because he didn't use it at all in Homecoming. Like, they forgot that he could do that.
Let me guess. So Marvel owns the term Spidey Sense. So Sony has to call it something else unless they trade them. No, so that was a question mark. I thought that was just in him. That's just a thing he could do.
Oh, yeah.
The Spider Sense he just has. It's part of the ability he got when he gets bit by the spider. He just has Spider Sense. It's always there, and that's what saves him all the time.
Because at the beginning, May is like, "Oh, you've lost your Peter Tingle." Of course, he makes the joke, "Stop calling it Peter Tingle. That's weird."
Which is a banana.
Yeah, it's right. It's
a banana too. So there's also a reference because he's sitting here, thinking about a girl as he gets hit in the face with a banana. Like, yeah, joke. I'm surprised you didn't say, "You can see me, Aunt May," but I was standing perfectly still. I was just. And then when he gets to Mysterio, I like this part when he gets to Mysterio. Mysterio gets shot, in quotation, by the drone. And then he realizes that Mysterio's just standing there next to him.
Again, this is it, though. Yeah, go ahead.
Beck kind of really starts to lose it here. He's like, why aren't these drones firing? And it's like, you're in the strike zone. And he, like, screams, fire all the drones.
I'm surprised that's not a meme.
As Peter's swinging one around, just shoots him right in the chest.
But he didn't really get hit because it wasn't really him. He's the one standing next to him in an illusion. Then does he get shot?
He still gets shot.
Okay,
because he's
not dead, by the way.
It makes again the movie who's not content on giving you a straight answer on anything. Trying to fake you out again. Ooh, Mysterio's dead. Wait until the mid credits.
Edith says there are no life signs in him or whatever.
Oh, that's right.
I feel like he died. I wonder if he recorded that thing before all this.
I'm assuming so, but when did he have a chance to? When he was getting shot at, he was getting shot at and fighting.
After the scene, you see somebody else close a laptop,
right,
and walk away. From one of the team.
Right. Will does that. Yeah.
Also, he tells him to turn off the illusion at one point for reasons? Question mark.
Mysterio, you're not very good at this, sir. Like, you have
They're going to see you. And he's like, I'll see what I want him to see. I'm like, okay, what?
And again, how are you doing all of this? Like, again, with your, I'll say it again, your Pip-Boy on your wrist computer?
It is very Pip-Boy.
Yeah, I kept saying that to myself. Like, I actually kept saying, I should be playing Fallout right now. Wish I was doing that instead of this.
That'd be better.
But here I was. Here I was for the benefit of this program.
And then after Mysterio dies, because I don't think he's dead. I think he's coming back in a later movie, in my opinion. That's how this stuff felt to me. And plus, they don't like to kill villains in MCU anymore because they realize it's a bad idea. Like, even if somebody got choked by Thanos and got killed and got his neck back, he could still survive. It was a different version from a different time, So it's just the way the MCU was.
Sony was all over it, though. They killed Green Goblin. They killed Dr. Octopus, Venom, Harry. Yeah, kill everyone. Who cares?
But that was a different time in movies where you would get 3 at most and you were done.
Yeah.
Well, there's supposed to be a 4th one.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Yeah, it's going to be a thing. Wait, what?
Spider-Man. He's talking about Sam Raimi was supposed to have a 4th Spider-Man movie back then.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It never happened, but yes, there's supposed to be one. And here's the big question. And then MJ finally confronts Peter and they're talking and they find out they're both alive. Then they kiss. And I wrote in my notes, was this Earnville?
Can I field this one?
Sure.
Yes, by all means, please.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Because most, they're cute together, yeah. But most of their quote-unquote relationship, MJ's been watching Peter, all this stuff happens in between movies, off-screen, As far as the viewer is concerned, no, none of it. This is not earned. I don't know, in my opinion. I guess.
No, I think that's fair. This is a borderline earn. I agree with that. I bend on the side of earned on this because of the age of the characters, how they're always going to be guarded over their real feelings. They're never going to really admit that, either one, especially MJ, who doesn't know how to handle these kind of positive things. And it's clear she doesn't, just based on her antisocial
directly
nature.
Says that too.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is all set up well, and it's very cute and kind of twee almost. And yeah, just kind of adorable and charming. I think I got hit with charm dust on this. So the charm dust hit me, and I went, "Oh, that's sweet."
I smiled.
That's cute. Yeah, I had a good smile at that.
You've
I like
swayed me. I'll give you borderline. It is better than Thor and Padme.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
That's not saying a whole lot.
No,
Which is this is the bar that we measure things on.
That's like saying if I shit on the floor, my dog shits on the floor. I'd rather have the dog shit on the floor. That's about the same when it comes to that kiss.
I'm sure Tiffany would too.
The Thor stuff it's just so bad with them. Like it's especially in that first movie, so unnecessary and so stupid. But
yeah,
I like that first movie though.
Yeah, this is fine. I mean, as you're talking about like in Thor and Padme, I think the relationship between Dan and Meg in Reanimator was more believable than those two jokers. So anyway.
I like how we keep making Reanimator jokes.
I just had to because poor Michael. Well, Michael, like I've said, there's no way I would have let you watch that movie.
No,
you're not allowed.
There's no way I would have watched that movie. So.
Yeah, I would have let you.
I was eating dinner and had to stop eating dinner because of that movie. And like, I'll eat and then I'll watch the movie. That's how bad it was.
Listen to the episode if you haven't. We have a riotous good time chatting about it.
And in the words of one of our patrons on Twitter, he's like, "It was worth my $1 for this."
Oh, really?
One person loved it, one person hated it, and one person in the middle. So
wait, the episode or
Kenneth, a friend of the show. Yeah, he commented on Twitter about it.
I know that guy.
Been on the show many times. And then this brings us to Happy Meets with Fury, and then they play a Ramones song as they arrive in New Jersey. But I don't know what what song it was. But I know it was Ramones.
Oh, okay. I just didn't pick up on it.
The only one I only know a couple, which is I Want to Be Sedated and Blitzkrieg Bop, and it wasn't either of those. So
gotcha. Yeah,
it had to be Ramones. So that voice that sounded like Ramones.
And they covered the '60s Spider-Man theme at one point.
Did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can. Okay, and then relationship it ends. Now that they're off the trip, they're broken up now.
No more babe.
Which makes sense because it was just they're on a trip.
Yeah, summer fling kind of thing, which they talk more of here with Happy and May too.
If you have May greeting Peter, and then you have the whole like Peter sitting there. I gotta ask a question. You just see the back of his head, I think, or something. Then it turns, or you see somebody talking to him. Then it turns out to be he's talking about Happy and May, and that's where she's like, "Yeah, it's just a summer fling."
That's cute. Like, I like that. It's just again a little turnabout kind of thing, like the sort of thing you would confront. An adult would confront two kids about.
Yeah,
he's confronting it. Fun. It's a cute little turnaround, and again, I just like seeing May and Happy in love. It's very sweet.
And you have him.
I mean, Happy thinks that it's something, and May's like, no.
Yeah, I think May's been through some life. I think I can see May being like, yeah, there's no rings happening. We're just gonna have ourselves a fun time, and Happy being just,
I also think, plus she's a pretty woman who probably had many boyfriends or could get many boyfriends, and Happy's a guy that was following. She's still burnt.
She's still burnt on Mel Gibson and What Women Want.
Don't get that joke, but
there's the reference.
That's the reference. Very, very good.
And then you have Spider-Man taking the selfie pictures while he's swinging through the air, which I like because that's very Spider-Man-y. And then you have him swinging with MJ, and then you get credits. These bother me.
Well, just real quick, before the end credits, when he's doing his swinging, I said out loud, "Yes, swinging through the city without a care in the world, having fun. This is Spider-Man." Oh, where was this the whole movie?
And where was the title screen, by the way?
Where was New York this whole movie?
Where was New York?
I think it's at the end.
I don't remember it. I was paying attention. Maybe I wasn't paying that much attention, but I don't remember it.
It's right before the mid-credits, I think. But I did miss on it.
I'm usually, that's a thing we do in this show.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I've let you down. Yeah,
we were all broken, I think, at the end of this movie.
Yeah, pretty much. I was literally ready for it to be over. I actually put in my notes, and Spidey goes for a swing, and I really It's a nice way of ending. I think every Spider-Man should end with a triumphant swing through the city of New York. It just should.
It's a pretty accurate representation of swinging. Like, she should be absolutely terrified during all that.
I would be. I fucking hate that.
In the Miles Morales game, Genki's kind of got face cam with Miles, and he's like, "How are you not throwing up all the time?" He's like, "It's years of practice."
It's funny.
And then you get the credits, and then you get the first scene, the first credit scene, which is Mysterio ended up someone sent a video of Mysterio where they edited the footage and edited what was said, so it made it look like Spider-Man killed Mysterio, and then it says, and then Spider-Man is Peter Parker, but they sent it to what the hell the Daily Bugle.
Daily Bugle.
But the Daily Bugle now is a website, which I thought was funny.
Yep, and then a good old J.K. Simmons?
Yep, they brought him back to play the same character.
Great.
Pretty good.
Very good.
It was good. And then you get more credits, and at the very end, this one irritates me, where you have Fury in the car with Maria Hill, and all of a sudden it turns out they're both Skrulls.
Yeah.
And that's why
it's fine.
And that's why Fury is an idiot in this movie, because it wasn't really Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why he says early on, he's like, he's from Earth, but not your Earth. Not our Earth.
Oh, I see. I didn't catch that. Okay. What ship is he on? What fortress is he in when you see Samuel Jackson?
Sword.
Where?
It's called Sword. It's another branch of what would be S.H.I.E.L.D. normally or something.
Oh.
I don't know what ship he's actually on, but that's because there's a reference to Sword in WandaVision.
Yes.
That's
correct.
where he's at, technically. That's what that is.
And who's he telling to get back? Who's he telling to get back to work? Just like regular cronies?
Skrulls, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's more Skrull.
I don't get where they're going with that.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I assumed it was just me being ignorant of the comic books, and I always assume these things are a reference to a comic I've never heard of. So I was like, I'm like, I'll just ask the fellas, what is this from? And clearly, just Sword thing.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly where they're going with this, and that's why this movie also bugs me, because it feels so unnecessary. Like, Black Widow should have been, either after Infinity War or before Infinity War, and then Endgame should have been the end of Phase 3 and done. And then this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, Black Widow was supposed to be out like 10 years ago.
It was supposed to be out in this time, but then they just Disney wouldn't greenlit it.
Yeah.
They didn't think Scarlett Johansson, who had starred in multiple movies, could hold a movie for some reason.
She can hold the movie, even though she's half asleep through most of it.
Like Lucy.
She's very tired throughout. She looks very tired.
Oh, Lucy's garbage. Don't even get me started. Sorry.
I saw it in theaters and I really liked it.
I saw it in theaters too, because I'm like, that preview looks awesome. She's gonna get like psychic powers, and I watch it, I'm like, what is happening?
You put ScarJo in a movie, I don't care how stupid it is. I can see ScarJo, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm really biased because of ScarJo.
She's great as the AI in Her. Excellent.
Don't say that.
Excellent movie. Really good.
You want to watch Ghost of the Show?
Hmm? What?
She's in the DreamWorks movie Sing. She's the porcupine.
Yeah, she's the porcupine. She's great.
She's the porcupine. I thought she was the pig. Never mind.
No, she's a porcupine. Trust me, I've heard that song 100 times in the car on the way to take my kid to school. Yes, she's the porcupine.
All right. I think we should go to Shelf Stacker Box.
She's in the SpongeBob movie, the first one.
The steamed roll.
Okay, I'm done.
All right, I'll go first. So I was still torn between this movie, like where I should put it. But the more we talked and the more we shitted on it, it went lower on the totem pole. So it's going in the box. It's not a Spider-Man movie. It really should be called Spider-Man Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it doesn't make any sense. And the more we discussed it, the less it made sense. And that was bad. So I never need to see, I'm good. I'll take my Homecoming. I'll enjoy that. I do not need to see this movie again. And I'm glad I saw it, went in the box, and done. How about you, Mike?
It's going on the shelf, man. This movie is great. No, it's going in the box. Like even if it wasn't after Spider-Verse, every Spider-Man movie's competing for second best, like we've discussed at length ad nauseum in this. It's trying to be two different movies. It doesn't succeed really well at either of them. As I put it to you guys in the proverbial green room, I called it a tale of two shitties, which is a little harsh, but I don't know. Like, it could have been so much better, and it really just feels like they cobbled together a movie to keep Sony happy. So, I'm good.
It made a lot of money, though.
Oh, yeah. It's MCU movie. Yeah. It's such a weird way to send off Phase 3. But yeah, box.
How about you, Bill?
This is a box. It's Yeah, you guys just said it best. I don't really need to reiterate much, even though I will, because that's what I do on the show. I restate my points over and over again. This movie is it's oil and water, right? The high school drama and the superhero stuff doesn't mesh. The rules don't make sense. I actually enjoy the high school stuff more than the superhero stuff, just because of that issue with this very clumsily built Mysterio character and all the things that he can quote unquote do, and it just never meshes and mixes well. And in the end, you have very average superheroing with a very heartless, or not heartless, with a very heartless kind of teenage drama that doesn't have the heart and warmth of a John Hughes movie. And you mush these two things together, and you just get something that's not satisfying, that's not interesting. I was reading the blurbs of the Rotten Tomatoes reviews that equaled up to a 90% approval rating. Damn. And Rotten Tomatoes, of course, is just yay or nay. So if it's above 50% or a certain metric, it's a positive or a negative. So I suspect from all of the blurbs I read, all the critics were like, it's fine. It's okay. It's affable. So they all are 77 out of 10s basically, but they total up to 90 because of Rotten Tomato algorithms. And that's really where this is. But I don't know. I just thought the lack of care in the script and just bad villain all equaled up to a very unsatisfying experience. I was better off, should have been playing Fallout.
My other issue with the Spider-Man, they feel rushed. We're getting No Way Home at the time of this recording very, very soon. Comes out in December of 2021. We just got this movie in 2019.
Yeah. We've gotten one teaser so far, which does not instill me with a lot of confidence. Maybe they just assume people are going to see it no matter what. But
people are going to see it no matter what. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
Same thing. I'll probably see it opening weekend.
A better version of this kind of movie where it can't decide what it wants to be is Superman Returns. It's more of a Clark Kent movie than a Superman movie. You get 1.5 action scenes, but everything kind of meshes well.
Yeah.
And it's more on Clark wanting to be Clark instead of Superman. But
And I think if you want to do a high school drama with Peter Parker, that is interesting. The core of this is actually pretty good. Yeah, again, the idea of Peter Parker fighting against being a kid in high school and a superhero, and wanting to be both and realizing he can't, and the growth that comes from that. That's cool.
I have small spoiler that I want to mention.
Oh.
I'm going to tell people to skip ahead about 3 minutes, because so you know that Venom movie that just came out? That's the new one?
I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it either.
You don't need to. But there's going to be a small spoiler for the after credit scene. So if you don't want to hear it, skip ahead. Say 3 minutes. I should be done with it by then. In the end of the Venom movie, after the movie ends, the credit scene is Venom is at a hotel or something, and all of a sudden the world flips and he sees on the TV that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Ew.
So
yeah, I kind of figured that was the route they were going.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why, again, I think that's why they made all these movies, because they're like, Sony's like, we want it back. We want our contract back. We're taking it back.
Yeah, Far From Home's absolutely going to be the last one in the MCU.
Or No Way Home?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, when it says No Way Home, I think, they meant No Way Home back to MCU. He's done.
Yep.
So that, I just wanted to put that out there, because that was the best part of that Venom movie, by the way, too. So.
I heard it was pretty bad. I heard it's not very good.
It has issues.
Yeah. They should just, if they're going to do a high school thing, then keep it in high school. I'm actually here for Peter Parker in class and in that environment, and then having to dip out to do superhero things. That's actually cool and fun and interesting. But you put us in this super, summer vacation thing in a place we don't, we all know what Venice is, obviously, but I don't know. Lots of decisions here were really baffling and strange, and just didn't work. So
yeah, if you want to see that Peter Parker in high school, watch the 2017 Disney series. It's got a really shaky start, but it ends up being something great.
All right, cool, very cool.
Damn, I was going to say something else, and now I'm trying to think what I was going to say. That's okay. Oh, one thing I did want to say is this is the last MCU movie that we're at least all three of us are doing, because we're done with this fucking project. We started this. Unfortunately, I don't have the drive near me, but I think it was either February.
It was February.
2020.
It was late February.
Yeah,
so it was
February.
Before COVID hit.
Yep.
We recorded the first episode, and I remember because COVID hit, and I'm like, oh, COVID won't be that long. We'll record a couple extra episodes while we're not as busy, and then we'll, that way we have a head start, and then COVID never ended, and we're in we're recording this today in 10/22/21, and we're still
we were making excessive podcasts before it was the thing to do.
I can't tell you how good it feels to have. I mean, we got one more episode in us where we're going to do a recap and do our rankings in a few weeks. We'll record it or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But So like you have that coming to hear all our rankings of all these movies, and I can guarantee you this movie will be really high in the list. All of us, for sure.
Up there with Guardians too.
Yeah.
It's above Guardians 2 on my list.
In-
When we watched Guardians 2, I literally went down the list, made 23, and put it at the bottom. Like, you can stay right there.
Wow.
Wow.
Worst movie of all of them.
Wow. That's a bold statement. Well, spoiler for I don't agree.
Yeah.
But they'll be interesting.
We'll save that.
Yeah, we'll save that for then. Yeah, we started this in February 2020. Yeah, pretty sure that's correct. And yeah, imagine if we had kept it to just doing one a month. We'd be halfway through right now, I think.
Yeah.
That was the original plan, was to make it go for 2 years. But then it was after, like, we were started. It wasn't, it was in June when Stu and Stefan quit the show. So that's when everything kind of got thrown for a whack.
Well, we also had the pandemic where we were like, we're all sitting at home doing nothing. Like, we literally can't leave our homes. So let's just do this once every couple weeks. And
I'm like, we'll just get ahead. And then we got far ahead, and then we ended up, we had two of us moved and bought houses.
Yep.
One of us had a kid. Yeah. And we still went through so much shit at the time recording this.
Yeah. Then we got towards the end of phase 3, and it just felt like a band-aid. It's like, we just need to pull and get it over with. Let's just
get it done.
So we'll talk about it more next episode. I really want to go into the mentality of what this project was, and we do the next episode.
That'll be fun. That'll be a fun post-mortem for sure on this project.
Because I was not thinking that it would be what it became.
You could have just stopped at not thinking.
Like, it was, I remember, like, because it was all Disney Plus got announced, and I'm like, we can do this. And I look back and I'm just like, man, what was I thinking?
It was fun. We can't postmortem it now. We'll wait for when we do that show. But I've had a wonderful time doing this. This has been a lot of fun, and I look forward to it every month / every 2 weeks whenever we announce it. So, but again, unlike you guys, I don't record. Now I have my own podcast. I'm constantly doing work for. So
yeah, now you do more than I do.
I know. Just come on. Now you're just a guest here and there.
Aw.
So, this is coming out November 10th. So not that far from the time that we're recording this.
Okay. Because we're going to do phase 4 at some point, right? I mean, I got to talk to you about Black Widow.
My plan is you do it with guests, with a random third chair, whoever wants to pop in. So maybe Mike might pop in one of them or something, but that's the idea.
Yeah.
And then some might be without you, like for What If. I don't know if you want to watch that crap or not, but
it's fine. What If was fine.
No,
I remember how long you didn't even watch all of it, sir.
Yeah, well, what's on my list of things to do?
So.
How long is it?
8 episodes or 9?
That's too much.
They're
all different.
Depressing episodes, and I don't like seeing characters I really like in a very depressing world.
Ooh, depressing! I'm in. Yay! I want to do that.
Like one of the episodes.
Do what?
They kill Hawkeye.
Oh yeah, that does happen.
It doesn't matter because it's not the same Hawkeye.
For me, I haven't seen it yet.
Not spoiling it. It doesn't even. You won't even understand the context of what I just said. Other than Hawkeye.
Twice.
Yes, but it's different. What ifs are different worlds essentially of these different stories that happen on these different universes that follow the MCU but aren't the MCU.
Yeah,
like the first episode,
comic line.
What if Peggy Carter got the serum instead of Steve Rogers?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then it kind of goes from like the second episode is what if Black Panther got abducted and became Star-Lord instead of Peter Quill? That's actually a good episode. But it's
basically like a playground conversation, right? Like basically that's what this is.
So it doesn't really spoil it because yes, I said it, but it doesn't. The context is not what you think it is. So
I understand. Okay, that's fine. Fair enough.
It doesn't matter.
Cool.
Because it doesn't affect the actual MCU.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I figured out. Very good. I want to talk about Loki. I want to talk about WandaVision. I want to breeze through Winter Soldier. It's fine.
Loki was so good. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. I don't know if we're going to do in order what we're going to do for the show. We'll get them. It doesn't matter at this point.
But that means you're going to make me watch Black Widow again, which is like it's like watching.
You don't have to. If you want to skip out on some, you're welcome to. But Black Widow is good.
Oh no! I'll watch Black Widow again. I just I don't know. I know you do.
But I only seen it once, so we'll see what my second. This movie I like decently. I thought it was okay. Now I think it's shit. So my opinion was that.
And you know what? Like to bring it back to this movie, as always, I apologize if I ruined your good time and robbed you of your joy. I hope not. Hope you still have
I was already irritated. You just made it. You just brought things more to light that I didn't realize. It didn't affect. It was already bad.
Yeah, it was a solid C at best for me. So
cool.
And then with No Way Home coming out and kind of seeing where they're going with it, and they're making another Spider-Man movie that's Spider-Man and Friends. I'm just like, just give us a Spider-Man movie.
At least in this one, part of his friends are supposedly other Spider-Men, so that'll be interesting.
That's true.
It'll be the second best Spider-Man movie with multiple Spider-Men in it.
Only for a little while.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse 2 is coming.
Yeah, next spring, supposedly.
I will see that.
Great.
We'll
I'll
definitely do that one at some point.
And Bill, where can people find you?
Oh, I do a podcast entitled A Gamer Looks at 40. I've said the tagline a million times on this show, but
That's fine.
yeah, it's in case you've never heard this podcast before, in case you're just cruising the internet looking for people to talk badly about Far From Home. That's what your goal was this week. Glad we could serve that purpose. It's just an exploration of the history of video games through the lens of people who lived it, of everyday people who kind of experienced it. We go through different systems and eras and characters, and just let people tell stories about why they love them, how it's affected their lives. It's kind of like This American Life meets Reply All, almost. That's kind of like the combination I think I went for, and probably failed. But hey, that's the idea. If you want to listen to it, if that terrible explanation works for you, go to Twitter to A Gamer Looks at 40, and all the stuff is there. Follow, like, subscribe, do the YouTube / I'm not on YouTube.
You're not on YouTube.
Don't do that. No, don't do that. Do all the podcast things that every other podcast asks you to do. It would be lovely and great, and I hope to get your listen.
The way that I like to put it is that your show follows one topic, but with different people jumping in to talk about said topic with music in between. Where I go, man, he edits a lot every time I listen to that show.
That's about it.
And then I do this, where I just throw it on there and we just talk, and then I cut out and stuff like that. And
no, it's you should see me cutting these shows up. It's literally like a crazy person. Oh, and I'll throw one more plug. I'm gonna be on. Hang on, yeah, you'll have to cut this bit because I have to look it up. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. What am I doing tomorrow? I'm sorry. Just cut this out. I'm gonna make you do more work than you had to.
No, this is easy though. I don't know if I'm gonna cut it out, but yes.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna be on a Twitch stream tomorrow from 10 to 11 Central Time. I think that's what I'm on. Yeah, 10 to 11
if
Central Time.
You can go back in time. You can go watch that stream.
Oh well, no. There's always VOD. There's always a VOD. Yes, so you can go on Cafe BTW. I'm gonna be on there for an hour talking about podcasting and about video game magazine retrospective. So we talk about Nintendo Power, GamePro, EGM, kind of walking down that memory lane of the video game magazines. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Obviously, you cannot go back in time. You are not Doctor Strange.
Maybe you can.
So go to Cafe BTW on Twitch and check out that show. I'll be there.
You have to shrink down really small.
Yes. Yes. You have to do that.
That makes more sense than the drones.
Anything makes more sense than the stupid drones.
Oh man! And if you actually like this movie, we're sorry.
Some people do. People out there who like this movie, so
people like this movie. Yeah,
they got to be 90% somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. And just to make sure I close that loop, I don't want to get it wrong. It's twitch.tv/loveretrobtw is where you would find that VOD.
Okay. And if you send me a link, I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do that.
So you got a little while, so don't worry. You're not like this. This is going for. I got to edit this thing still. And I also want to give a shout out to our awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Helena at Hell Hath Fury. We have a new intro and outro now, which you've heard a few times at the point you're hearing this. So I just want to give her a shout. You'll see a link to her TikTok in the show note. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. We are on YouTube, but only audio. Oh, but hey, if you're looking for the Resident Evil movie or the Thor Dark World, we have 34,000 views of that movie, and people be probably being upset with me.
Oh, Resident Evil's one of them now? That's cool.
It's about 300 something, but yeah, people keep clicking on it. But it's not like the Thor Dark World, which I checked. It was 34,000, and it had more dislikes than likes.
Why is it the bad movies?
Because no one wants to spend money on it. Yeah.
Like Thor Dark World, you forget it exists. So you're like, man, I can't remember that movie. You look it up on YouTube, and you find some idiot that did a podcast about it.
Like, try to watch Winter Soldier or something, not Resident Evil or Dark World.
Resident Evil's a good film.
Yeah, okay.
I will stand by that. That is I think I still liked it. I can't remember what I even said. Listen to this.
I think I've ruined that one for you too. I've ruined all your movies. I destroy all the things you love. I apologize in advance.
I think I still enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, how many named Resident Evil characters are in that movie? None?
Doesn't need to be any. That's fine. Still a good movie.
Yeah.
Fox is good. The third one is garbage.
Oh, Extinction's hot garbage, like dumpster fire.
Fourth one's the prison, right?
Revelations?
I don't know anything about the fourth one. The fifth one is the Simulation City, which is good, if I remember right. And I never seen it.
Same.
So I'm purposely not watching it, and I even had someone try to spoil it to me. I'm like, nope, I haven't seen it. Don't spoil it. I'm like, I gotta wait until I do it a podcast.
Yeah, I bought it. I still have yet to watch it.
I have the whole set too, for some reason.
Good conversation.
And please follow us on Patreon. We have a Patreon for as little as $1. You can go vote in our Patreon poll each month that we have. I don't know what this month will be, but it'll be a holiday movie of some sort. So go vote. Go. Little as $1. You'll see a link in the show notes. And I think that's everything I need to say. We will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.